Why does it say it's live? Is it?
Hi, good morning, good evening, everyone around the world. Hi, Nick. Hi, Tim. So today we are back on our daily show on COVID-19 and what are the impacts around the world. So let's begin. So I'll start with Kim. Kim, what's the story from US? Any updates? Anything new? Any positive news going around?
Anything positive? I have to be careful about reading the news. The world seems to be a little upset with the USA right now. I would like to get some world leaders on the phone and have them talk to each other. But a lot of people in other countries are very disappointed in us not taking the extreme measures in the very beginning. I think it was because the president himself probably was afraid of his own shadow to make a decision. In other words, what I believe is that he only felt like he had two choices. One is shut down all of America very early and nothing happened, which would have been a good thing. And we wouldn't have been paid for about 30 days, maybe 21 days would have been our real lockdown to get control of this, and few casualties. And his other choice, and then the whole world would think he was stupid, right? Oh, it was just a flu, just like, like they were comparing in the beginning. And then his other choice was to go ahead and let it hit and hope it doesn't kill many. And then he has a reason to shut down and take control of the situation, and people won't hate him as much. The problem is that it got out of hand. Nobody calculated the fact that the test results were only 10 days. So everything that you were seeing today was not the real results of where this was spreading. Nobody looked at the fact that it was contagious upon contact. So once you have it, you're spreading it that moment. So, yeah, and Nick's probably got better news.
I always have good news. Hey, Willie, how you doing? And we're going to talk a little bit about Australia. Good day, mate. We're going to talk a little bit about Australia today. But first of all, it was very, very interesting that the guy Fossey from our country who heads up this thing says, "Oh, we're not going to be out of it until we find a vaccine." Well, I said that weeks ago. I mean, you've been here.
Fossey's been saying that too, but nobody's listened to Fossey.
No one listens to him. No one listens to Bill Gates. No one listens to anything.
So let me tell you, Fossey's the director of the Infectious Disease Control
But
Department.
I also said Florida will have the most deaths. Watch, this hasn't happened yet. Well, but the thing is, what you do is you just look at the demographics and the trends. Now, with that, I sent you guys, I don't know if Willie got this really great article. See it? Okay, 19 companies working on treatments or vaccines. Now, if you read the article carefully, it is treatments or vaccines, not both. And remember, it's working on. It's not like we have them yet. But the thing is, if you want to know how you get out of the hole, I mean, you got to climb your way out. And the thing is, if you're not looking to climb your way out, you're just digging holes and spinning your wheels.
Right.
Now, I'm not going to go back into history as to say who point fingers as who's the blame on this, because that we'll have plenty of time in November to do that. That's when we have our elections here, kid. Okay, and everybody will blame each other. Watch, it'll be all Obama's fault at the end, as we well know. But that's how it goes here. Okay, but with that, I want to do a special on the cures, because there are some interesting developments in this area, cures and what they call treatments. Now, some of them actually come out of this place called Queensland, Australia. Where the heck is that? Maybe Willie knows where that is. But yeah, they have. Okay, here it is. Okay, the company is Dynavax Technologies. Said in March, it's making adjuvant technology available to companies developing CoVid-19 vaccines through a partnership with CEPI. Dynavax adjuvant technology can help provide increased immune response to the vaccine. The biopharmacological company is also working with the University of Queensland on a vaccine development through the CEPI deal. Now, when you read the blurb on that, it tells you Nothing. Okay, it's very interesting, but tells you nothing. Sorry, Willie. The stock is down 38%. Okay, because we're looking for answers. Now, here's another company that's doing a development. It's called Gilead Science, which I mentioned before. Now, why is it interesting? They're doing right now phase 3 clinical trials. Gilead is a longtime drug maker. For those who don't know about it, it's actually did a major cure for hepatitis C, which was a big problem. I had clients that had Hep C. Big problem, and we actually got them life insurance saying that there'll be a solution by the time you die. He was in his 30s. He had it, and I said, well, there'll be a solution. And there is a solution. Gilead Science actually developed it. In Slovati, a therapy that changes the standard of care for the disease, but also kicked out a national debate about drug pricing. When Gilead Science came out with this, that's what they charged, a lot of money, which we talked about in one of our shows, but we really haven't addressed it. And of course, our leaders have not addressed it. Okay, somebody comes out with a vaccine. How are we going to price this thing? We haven't looked at. The company has been developing and marketing HIV drugs known as Truvada for pre-exposure prophylaxis. It's preventive HIV medicine along with clinical trials. Gilead is conducting randomized clinical trials in Wuhan, testing remdesivir. Now, remdesivir I've been following. It's a treatment for mild to moderate forms of... I have an echo.
Hold on, stop. Before we go any further, sometimes we have to fix our technology. Who has their Facebook or their YouTube up?
Not me.
If somebody has a Facebook or YouTube up, we're going to get the echo.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
all
we're
right.
going to have a class on technology while we do this.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Anyway, speaking of technology, one of our service providers, you know, that we were using, Kim, got invaded, got hacked. We haven't got hacked yet. So I don't know how you guys are doing.
Go ahead and mention which service provider, Nick. Don't just allude.
I don't mention names. I don't mention politician names. Being an attorney, you be very, very careful to say things. All I can say is a service provider that does things like this, provides our programming, got hacked. Okay, and put some bad things on the middle of the programming. Okay, anyway, the trial was given...
Not porn, I hope.
I'm not going to mention names. Anyway,
I didn't mention names. I said I hope it wasn't porn. And
it was. Anyway, remdesivir, which is the name of the drug, it's a treatment. Now, notice I said treatment. Treatment's totally different than a vaccine. Treatment means you got the bloody thing, let's not get you killed, and it's for mild to moderate forms of pneumonia in people with the virus. So before you even get to this, in March, they actually halted the trials. Then on February 21st, they enrolled patients in a random double-blind controlled 2 study. Now, you see how interesting this stuff is. It's not. It's boring. It's dry. Okay? And that's one reason we don't want to know anything about this. However, my thinking is you have to today know something about it because your life may depend on it. So then in March 3rd, they did a randomized... Now, this is Gilead Science again. And remember, they're the ones who cured Hep C. It's just like Craig Vetter, who actually, if you don't know, Dr. Vetter actually was able to... basically complete the DNA sequence before the U.S. government did. He's actually a brilliant physician. Anyway, PhD, I believe. Gilead said a randomized phase 3 will evaluate remdesivir in 600 patients, and the study's taking place in Hong Kong, Singapore, South Korea, and the U.S. Then on March 3rd, they did an open phase 3 trial, and we're going to continue to monitor that. But realize remdesivir is a treatment. It is not a vaccine. GlaxoSmithKline, a very large pharmaceutical, and I'm sure we'll have Mohammed on soon, our pharmaceutical expert, did a pandemic adjuvant platform for vaccines, and they bought... Now remember, they're trying to do a vaccine. According to the NIH, they're saying vaccines 18 months away. Okay. Wow. Well, that means we're going to be around for a while here, buddy. This is the reason I'm saying they're trying to expedite this, but you can only go so fast with studies. It's another leading vaccine maker and brought to market the vaccines for HPV and the seasonal flu, among others. It said the CEPI funded University of Queensland, that's your department, Willie, will have access to the British drug maker's vaccine adjuvant platform technology, which has strengthened the response of vaccines and limit the amount of vaccines needed per dose. It's also using its adjuvant technology in combination with the vaccine candidate, it's called COVID-19 trimer, whatever the heck that is, and preclinical studies. Dr. Thomas Brewer, Chief Medical Officer of the vaccines, is leading work on vaccines in the adjuvant platform. But the year to date, the shares have tumbled 23.5%. Now that's not good, because there are people that actually follow this intensely, and when you see the shares go down, you're going, that means there might be something that's missing here. And remember, there's 19 of these. A vaccine, this is actually done by my university. The Heat Biologics has previously announced developing a vaccine for the novel coronavirus, which is what we have, which is out there, with the University of Miami Miller School of Medicine. Now, the University of Miami School of Medicine, Miller School of Medicine, actually, my classmate was Stuart Miller, who donated $100 million to the University of Miami to create the Miller School of Medicine, for what it's worth. Anyway, they named it. I guess for every $100 million, you can have a university put your name on it. Anyway, it disclosed on March 17th in a financial filing that its CoVid vaccine has been added to the World Health Organization of a draft landscape of 41 candidate vaccines. Now, there are 41 candidate vaccines as we sit today. The company has also rejoined the Alliance for Biosecurity, which may help secure government funding to support its rapid development, production, distribution of COVID-19, according to the Maxim Group analysis. Year to date, the Miami Heat, otherwise known as Heat Biologics, is up 19%. So again, when you see this, you're going, okay, that means that whatever they're doing probably has some promise, because people are putting their money where their mouth is in Heat Biologics. Innovo, now remember, there are 41. We haven't done that yet, the 41 potential vaccines. This could be, hey, Kim, this could be very boring, dry material and last a long time. And we're going to work on it in terms of tracking these 41 potential vaccines, where they're going, and the treatments, where they're going. Invio Pharmaceuticals, it's down 3. Well, anyway, it has a preclinical called the INO 4800. Right? Everybody knows that's like a Ford. You buy a Ford, a GMC, or an INO 4800, right? Okay, no one heard of this. It's another CEPI grantee awarded $9 million. It's already begun preclinical testing and small scale manufacturing. The INEO develops immunotherapies and vaccines, but hasn't yet produced a product approved for treatment. The INO 4800 preclinical testing was performed between January 23rd and February 29th. The company plans clinical trials in the U.S. with 30 patients in April. It plans to launch human trials in China and South Korea this month, and says it has a total of 3,000 doses prepared for trials in these countries. Now, here's the important part of Innovo 4800. Now, listen carefully, McFly. Innovo, on March 12th, announced a $5 million grant from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to test a delivery device for vaccine candidates. Now, we've talked about Mr. Bill before, and he's going to be on one of the major channels today, okay, because Mr. Bill, hey, I'm Mr. Bill, actually predicted this 5 years ago, and it's all over the YouTube and internet. He predicted the whole thing. Not only that, how much it's going to cost. He might as well tell you who's going to die. I mean, he's like, well, we won't get into that. But anyway, he predicted the whole thing. He outlined the whole landscape. Now, the important part of Innovo, the way I see it on Innovo Pharmaceuticals, is that Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation gave him a $5 million grant. If you ever apply for these grants, listen, especially from the Gates Foundation, they give you a Roto-Rooter job before they issue a penny. So we know that they've done some homework on this particular company, but remember, it's to test a delivery device for the vaccine candidates. Late March, Innovo said that GoLiv Bioservice, a contract development manufacturing organization, received an $11 million grant from the Department of Defense to support future potential manufacturing of the vaccine candidate for military personnel. The Innovo shares have soared 124%. Now, when Sasha gets on, his interest is, show me how this has soared. What's gone up 124%. Now, what we'll do is we'll put together our top 20, in other words, top 20, and we'll keep track of them, just like you're keeping track of the coronavirus, of the vaccines and the treatment developments that have taken place. But this one is something.
I got an idea, Nick.
Sure.
Because this is all really what I call the power of positive thinking news.
Yes.
And I think what we need to do is make a slot somewhere every day that
Yeah, right.
we
Well,
post it and show who's making what progress.
of course. Well, I saw
Because we know in Australia has been looking for an answer.
Yeah. Well, you and Ankit are showing that we're going to be on from 10 o'clock to 7:30, and I'm going like, well, who's going to staff all this? I mean, that's a lot of programming time. Who's going to staff all this? You know what I mean?
Well, I think if we each
there was a clash in between.
Yeah, but and the thing is, I know we're getting a lot of viewers on this, but the thing is, if we're really going to do, see, my thinking is by April 15th. Of course, I'm lagging it, but if we're going to do this, I need to announce that on the sites that we're at. That we're going to.
Well, we're going to. We're trying to get everybody established that they know how to log in, and then we're just going to continue the show for 24 hours. And each
that's what I would like to do, because see, Willie could actually do the show in the morning now, finally in Australia, and
that's what we're working on.
It would be 3 o'clock in the morning here, and we're actually 24/7. Okay, and they're going, how are these guys doing this at 3 o'clock in the morning? And Willie goes, I'm eating my breakfast here in Australia. It's no big deal. It may be 3 o'clock in the morning your time, but it's it's 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning my time. And so the thing is, we actually do have that ability to do that. We just need to staff up with the people to do that. Content is incredible out there. I mean, this thing, I just read 3 or 4 of these, Kim. This just goes on forever. And it's actually, from my standpoint, and should be for a viewer standpoint, highly interesting. I mean, there are some companies in pharmaceuticals that no one's ever heard about, like Innovo Pharmaceuticals. I've never even heard of these people. And Bill Gates
don't care about this. They want instant gratification. Show me the pill that works.
But that's not going to happen. The thing is, okay, look. You can't watch sports anymore, right? Sports is over. Okay, they're showing reruns of what's happening out there. Okay, so forget it. It's dead. Cricket's dead. Football, soccer, everything's dead. Okay, but our new sport is watching pharmaceutical companies. Okay, and so the thing is, we track pharmaceutical companies like ESPN track sports. You see what I mean? The top 20 of the week on pharmaceutical companies, and they get no love. Let's face it; these companies some of them been around for a long time, and no one cares. But here's why.
Now they get sued a lot, though. They get sued a lot.
Okay, here's why you should care. Number one, you can't do anything without them right now. You're going to be sitting you're going to be sitting at home waiting, and you have plenty of time on your hands. So maybe
let's talk about that as well as just staying at home. That's probably the best medicine that we have right now to stay at home.
Yeah. But the thing is, like Dr. Fauci said, and I believe that's again, you're putting Band-Aids on open wounds. Okay, it'll last until you see the curve flatten and then actually start going down, and then they're going to make an announcement. Okay, no wait. Yeah, they're going to make an announcement. Hey guys, let's go back out again, and then they're all going to back out, and poof, it's going to go back up again. So we need a long-term solution to this problem. And Fauci said quite correctly, it is a vaccine. Now, the stuff I'm going through are treatments and vaccines. In other words, and there's a difference. Treatment means you got it, and this will help you from not dying, maybe. Ventilators, I've seen some commentators say, oh yeah, we use ventilators right before they die. It doesn't help them, but we have to do something. So they stick them on a ventilator and they die. They go, okay, so we're going to produce 30,000 of them. Death trap machines, great. What it does, it makes the doctors, and they'll be on later on today. It makes the doctors feel good. Okay, you are really sick. So here's what we're going to do.
It's called quality of life before dying. I know.
Quality of life before. Yeah, well, you can you can put yourself through morphine and have a lot of quality of life right before you die. But what I'm saying is that treatment may not be. At least, and this is not me saying, one of the commentators was saying, may not be what people think it is. It's not like, okay, you're real sick, so we're going to put you on a ventilator and you get better. No,
one of the things
we put you on a ventilator and then you're going to die after we inject.
One of the things they found, Nick, that has how that the doctors are using in hospitals is they're incubating people to sleep. They're putting them into a drug-induced coma.
From what I understand, they're doing this US, the coma.
And then they put the ventilator on them so that they can keep breathing. They reduce the inflammation.
Right, and it may save some lives. So the thing is,
but this is what they're now saying is that your lungs will be permanently damaged from this. And
mine already are, so I'm kind of used to that. Okay, from a different disease.
You never smoked.
What? No, but asthma. Okay, long-term asthma. When you were younger, they didn't have the advanced medicine. So the thing is, the scarring tissue increases. So my lung capacity, when I'm doing good, is 75%. I kind of know that whole game. Okay, that breathing is great. But with that in mind, of course, it puts me in that high-risk category. So I really don't like this stuff that's going on. I wish we'd eliminate it. In the meantime, and I'm glad Sasha joined us. Okay, because Sasha, we were going over. Did I send you this? The top 19 companies. Oh man. Okay. Well, the thing is, here's the one we're focusing on right now. Innovo Pharmaceuticals. Okay, Innovo Pharmaceuticals has developed the INO 4800. Now, I'm not going to say that this is a vaccine that works, but it produced the product available for treatment, and it's going through. It's already actually gone through preclinical testing between January 23rd and February 29th, and now it's going to go through clinical trials in April. 30 participants, then expand to 3,000. But here's the important thing about Innovo. On March the 12th, there's the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation announced a $5 million grant for a delivery service for their vaccine candidate. Now, we all know Bill, who predicted this is going to happen 5 years ago, and the reputation he has in Seattle is that nobody gets money from the foundation unless they can almost prove that their stuff works. In other words, they grill these people before they give money out of their foundation. They're not like handouts. He puts people through the Roto-Rooter, and then he'll give you the money. Okay, well, they gave him $5 million. So what happened to the stock? Well, another 11 million came from the Department of Defense. Probably the Department of Defense is easier to get money out than Bill. Okay, but with that, the stock soared 124.6%. So we're going to start tracking the Innovo 4800 and, of course, Gilead Science Remdesivir. But Remdesivir, remember, is more of a treatment. This is looks to be a DNA-based vaccine from Innovo. And we have 41 of them, Sasha, to track. I sent you the one list from 19. Remember, this stuff moves pretty fast. There's 41 right now, WHO potential vaccines, and there's 19 vaccine/treatments that are out there. And the reason we want to track these, Sasha, is that, remember, the chess tournaments are all canceled. There's no soccer. There's no football. I mean, all you guys can do, all you can do is do the Russian treatment, which is drink vodka and sit in a sauna. Okay. I don't know if you saw that one.
It's healthy. That's going to flush out the COVID. It's healthy.
Listen, here's the deal in Russia. Okay, if you got coronavirus, they say drink a lot of vodka, go to the sauna. Well, what happens if you die? Well, you die pretty happy then, I guess. I don't know. That's the Russian treatment. Everybody's different.
While we have, Willie's here late in the morning, so we want to get an Australia update while Willie is here. And then, Nick, I know you're going to have to go, so I want to do a financial update. This has been great to talk about all the positive and power positive thinking out there. But let's get your financial update, and then I want to get Willie's update from Australia.
Well, you should do Willie's update from Australia first, and I'll get the financial update in just a minute.
Okay, Willie.
Okay, we've had an increase of 200 people of confirmed cases, and a total of 5,130. That's up to 300 people since yesterday, 3 p.m. A total of 23 dead. Queensland and New South Wales have rapidly increased their numbers. The total, we've had 23 dead. The sad thing with this is some people have a routine in the morning of swimming in the ocean. Remember, a few weeks ago, we had people on the beach. So what they've done is close the beach down. This beach is closed. And the police have put tape across the entrance to the beach. Yesterday, we had people stepping over the tape, going to the beach for a swim, coming back and stepping over, and all filmed. And so the message doesn't seem to be getting through. They're just still going out there and swimming.
Yeah, well, but the thing is, see, let's put this in perspective. You have 5,000 total people that are infected, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we have about 5,000 people who died, 200,000 infected. So again, we are the world leader. Again, we are the world leader.
But Willie's got a point there. Why aren't people?
Why are people ignoring it? Come on, mate. I mean, the thing is, why should they let a little bug get in the way of the living? You know. So the thing is, people do tend to ignore it because of that. And then, unfortunately, and this is why the doctors are concerned. You end up in the hospital and potentially infecting the doctors. They don't like that. You know,
think it's because they miscommunicated and represented this isn't like the flu. You know, they kept comparing it to the flu in the beginning.
No, it's highly
it's a bug, but it's not. It was a virus that can destroy your body. Mm-hmm. And we have already seen the astronomical rates. But I think people just don't know the truth, and they turned off the news at the wrong time. Because a lot of people go, okay, I'll go to the warmer climate. It's just like the flu; they'll get this under control, and people stop listening, and they're not listening anymore. And this is what I get from people I know that they're saying, "Well, we're just tired of all the lies. So why should we listen now?" Yep. So
I think this is part of viewer fatigue. When you hear too much of it, you kind of tune out.
Yeah,
it's like we're seeing the same ads. You kind of don't see the ad anymore.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yep. So I think people are just, and I know this because I've got family members, and they go, Kim, we don't want to hear about it anymore. We don't care. We know when you get a fever, just call your doctor. And I go, when did you turn off the news? When did you? And they tell me I only look at CDC. And I go, when was the last time you looked at the CDC site? Because this morning it says, please stay home and call your doctor. So seriously, people tuned it out back in February. They stopped listening back in February. So March, it kind of maybe they looked a little, but they quit. So the message we're hearing today is they don't care.
Well, there are certain people that don't. We had one of our nurses here announce that she's no longer participating in the tennis activities here at the club. And then one of our lead coaches said the same thing because this is a highly contagious disease. So there are some people that listen. Usually they're nurses, doctors, lawyers, architects, engineers, people have brains. And then there's the people that don't. And I'm not going to comment on what they have or what they don't have.
You know, I commend San Francisco because they did shelter in place.
Smart people.
Way before the president and CDC and NFID said anything.
Yeah.
San Francisco said shelter in place now. But just because they have everything under control doesn't mean they won't get reinfected.
I mean, the thing is, if you're smart, you're gonna have to seriously look at this. I mean, even going up to Raleigh and eating at a Chick-fil-A takeout, I'm sitting going like, basically, I'm putting myself at risk because Raleigh has a lot more infections that do here.
And who's to say the person fixing your food isn't infected with it?
That's the point. You don't know. In other words, and the minute you get in contact with people, you don't know, because the thing is, the incubation period could be 14 days or even worse. Never. In other words, you never see the person because they never become symptomatic. So what happens is you're basically always coming in contact with an invisible time bomb. So the people in Australia, that they're going, well, we're going to go to the beach. Well, I think you can go to the beach, but you got to maintain distance from other people. And frankly, you got to be careful what you put your hands on. And people don't realize how much you touch things. Because like you fill up with gas. I fill up with gas. I got to put a glove on. I mean, the thing is, everything you do, you come in contact with people, and it becomes a major problem. Hey, Rena has just joined us. Yeah, hope she has hope she has wipes. That would be good.
No, this is Kim has wipes. Kim says live by this. That's right. Hello,
Rena.
Hello.
Yeah, I use an oil actually if I have to go out or be in an area where I'm not isolated totally. I use any oil and I dip my fingers in it, and then I wear the gloves on top of it. And I really feel these kind of ancient, tales do hold ground today in such a scenario.
Yeah. So, Rena, how are you doing with avoiding people? I'm actually pretty good at that, but I don't know about you.
I'm not really, I'm a people's person. I mostly am with people, but now also with Zoom and with like talking to you guys, there is still a connect with the world. There is social media. Then I'm a Buddhist, so we have the job of chanting to
Right.
change basically the karma of the land.
Mhm.
And for this illness. So all of us all over the world are really praying hard for this to go away by April 30th.
April.
We time, we do about 2 to 3 hours of chanting every day.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea, but I think that's a little pushing it ahead. Over here in the U.S., what city are you in anyway? See, I'm coming from Raleigh, Durham.
I'm right now in New Delhi. I live here in India.
Okay, yeah. Ankit's from New Delhi. He's right over there. You know, he's he's a neighbor of yours. Down below is Willie Hill. He's from Australia. Good day, mate. Actually, Melbourne. And over there is Sasha Starr from Russia, now living in Canada. And Canada has a lot of nice people, so I guess that's the reason he moved there. I don't know, you know. And Kim, way over there, is from the United States. And over here in the United States, we have 200,000 people that are infected. And Willie complains about his 5,000 infected. We have 200,000. We are the world leaders in people infected.
But Nick, I told you this is a race we don't want to win.
Really?
You know, that graph that Ankit gave us.
Wait a minute, Ankit. No one ever told me that. I thought we were doing
no one wants to lead this race, I think.
Can you show us that video again? That's not the race. We want to be last. We don't want to be first.
Yeah.
We want to be last.
Hey, but also need to know a little bit more about New Delhi. Okay, from what I understand, the pollution has gone down there. Rena, is that correct?
The pollution has gone down. So the earth has really healed. Delhi has now become cleaner than most cities, or at par with all the cities in the world.
Yeah.
And that was never ever something. That was something we never thought would ever happen in India.
Right.
Yes, few days of this lockdown has created that miracle, I would say.
Oh, that's wonderful, because I keep telling Ankit I was going to go visit him in New Delhi, but I'm asthmatic and I can't breathe in the bad air. But now I can go visit you guys, right? You take American visitors now?
We take American. Oh, no, right now, no. But at some point, the world will shake hands. We will go back to hugging. We will live.
I've been banned from India. Okay, I'll write that down on my resume.
We're on this list, Nick. We're on this list.
Okay, well, I'm going to write that down on my resume. Banned from certain countries.
What do you think about this one? What do you think about this?
I love it.
Oh, wow. Okay. They're
That's
kind of
cool. Mask is going to be the new fashion accessory, which will be on everybody's when shows and fashion back on the, with the new collection.
Yeah.
I think the mask will be a new thing where a lot of designers will, come out with their ideas, and some of them already are. So.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait for
that. I would like to tell my viewers that Reena Ji is one of the top designers in India, and we welcome her on the show. And she also would like to share some stories about Italy and how the fashion industry would change after the COVID-19.
Oh, yeah. What is the fashion industry going to do? Are you going to go down the red carpet now with a mask? Is that the story?
The industry is going to really hurt, or it's already hurting, because a lot of the work here we used to do in India, being a manufacturing country, the goods were exported to the countries which are now shut, where retail is under a lockdown, people are sick. So fashion not being a necessity or a survival thing right now, it's all about survival. It's not, it's going to wait a while. There will be no demand. And even the orders and the productions are on hold. So most of us have lost money or are going to lose further, more money. There'll be layoffs, because artisans, workmen, because our industry really employs people to produce clothes. And a lot of it is also contract workers. So I've seen the migrant images of the migrant workers walking almost up to 300, 400 kilometers home over the cost of living in a place with no income. So that somehow are bleak future, frankly.
Now, wait a minute. You should still be able to do a fashion show. Come on. First of all, when the girls go down the way, they actually can maintain their social distance, right? So when they're walking down, they maintain their social distance. And then rather have them turn around and go back the other way while another person comes, you do a U-turn. In other words, you have like a semicircle, and then they always maintain social distancing.
Yeah, you
So
just have a U.
We
Yeah,
can
yes.
fix you a fashion show like this on TV, like push isolated fashion show. We can work it out. Yeah.
Yeah. You can, wait, time out, because we talked about
this. Fashion takes this, and this is not revolving right now. This shut down.
Kim, we talked about doing a fashion show on IBM TV. Thank you. Now I can do that. And
we can do a fashion show. We'll round up a few of our models.
Yeah. Bring your models on. Listen, I would watch a virtual fashion show, Rena.
Yeah,
okay?
We could do a virtual fashion show.
If you did a virtual fashion show, I'm all in. Okay, so the thing is, I'm ready to do it. Okay,
they do their fashion show every year, and
but you do it virtually.
I wonder if that's going to happen. But
you do it virtually, and they can go down the runway. They can keep the social distancing. I mean, that's not hard to do. And then you can look at the latest COVID-19 fashions out there with mask on.
This brought us social distancing years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately, the minute you tell everyone they can't get near each other and talk to each other face to face, their phones go down and go, why not? I want to talk face to face. I want to be with a person.
No, it's much better to do it on a GoToMeeting or like we're doing StreamYard. So the thing is, you could do a virtual fashion show. Come on, it's not that hard. But not only that,
is that they need people to buy those clothes, Nick, and there's no money to buy clothes right now.
Well, they buy it online. That's the reason you have an online store. You press the button, bingo, and you bought it. I mean, it's not hard.
All right, so let me explain this to you a little bit better. The people who buy it, their jobs are non-essential right now. They don't have the money. So the only people who have the money are people who have essential jobs and are still getting a paycheck.
Yeah, and there's still a group of people out there. Remember, the thing is, Kim, you go broadcast to a worldwide audience. There's 7.8 billion people out there, and 4.3 billion have access to IBM TV. So you broadcast to them, and out of the 4.3 billion people, there's X amount of people that have discretionary income no matter what the economy's doing, and they go, this looks pretty good. How do I buy it? Oh, I buy it online. Do you know how online activity is booming now? Or you do like Sasha. He invests in Gilead Science. It's developing a vaccine for this. That's up 123%. Sasha can't figure out what to do with all his money. He'd be more than happy to buy into fashion. So it can be done.
In the last year,
we can do a virtual show. It's a very good idea. We can do one specific to your content. And maybe in a few days, like 2-3 days, we come up with a picture and come back to you. Yeah, be nice.
Yeah, and we can put it on COVID-19. We can put the COVID-19 fashion show on IBM TV to help add to the programming that Ankit did that says that we need to go from 10 o'clock to 7:30 on this. As opposed to you.
Other women in the houses, maybe they'll join in with their own.
So I know, but I got a better idea, Nick. I got a way better idea.
Better idea than me?
So instead of having all of these girls get near each other,
they don't have to.
We do here have their outfits at home and fashion it, right? So if they've got, they can stand at home and they can fashion and walk in front and show. And so each person has their own outfit at home. They don't have to get together. And now you've got your runway is right here. This is your runway.
Yeah.
We're under a lockdown. India is under a lockdown. So we are also like you. We can't go out right now. We have a 21-day lockdown.
But you're right. You could do it at home. You don't have to go into some runway. You can do it at home. I have 2 beautiful granddaughters, by the way. Okay, they love fashion shows. Yeah, they actually are. Okay, the thing is, if
there's your fashion right there.
Yeah, we'll get it. Every time that we take them to department stores, they give us a little fashion show. Okay, do you know how many people would tune into a virtual fashion show? I mean,
this is what the people who can afford it now. This is what their fashion is. This is what they buy. So design really cool clothes for these people right now. That's what I would do, because they're the ones who can afford it.
But can we have
They're
a
working all the time.
design
We
on
can't
productive?
supply right now because the trade is shut for the moment. But yes, we can do it from the angle of sharing a mood, a moment, and for
Okay.
us to be one.
Yeah. We need to have a fashion show, Rena. So let me know when you're going to do it, because I'm tuning in and watching that one. I'll move my whole schedule around because I got to go see the fashion show. You know, the COVID.
Well, and I think we can do it just like we're doing now. And we can have each girl dial in, have them on backstage, and we let them fashion.
Yeah, we're limited. Yeah, we could do that. That's true. It's all.
We
It's
can
all
manage the logistics and as well as the technology, but Reena ji should come forward and plan the things.
We plan the
literally, you could have fashion people around the world.
And we can try to sell those things online as well.
because we can ask them to join in from wherever they are. We can color code it.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah, Willie would even tune in for Australia for that one, wouldn't you, Willie? Fashion show. Willie, you got your mic on.
Sasha would.
Sasha, you tune in for a fashion show, right?
I think a lot of our fans would.
You need to unmute your mic.
I can give you some good sites where you will forget about any fashion shows and you'll just enjoy what you will see on this site. So the fashion show, I'm not objecting to that. I will definitely watch it, but as a supplement to other sites, what I have in mind. Now, I want to give you some new information about what's happened yesterday here in Toronto.
Okay.
I verified that today because yesterday was a Fool's Day and I couldn't believe what happened. One person, I don't know him personally, but I know people who are friends with him. He was stopped driving his car and he was immediately charged on the spot after they police verified where he lives and so on. They gave him a ticket payable immediately for $1,000. I verified it today to make sure that it's not an April 1st joke. It's not. It's $1,000. It's real money. Now, something else I want to tell you about when people live in different realities depends on what source of news they are consuming. And I want to tell you something very, very interesting. We discussed it yesterday. As I mentioned before, I was on a cruise ship in Latin America, and we were coming back to Buenos Aires. It was March 1st, the end of cruise. So we are talking about, say, approximately February 28, 29. At that time, we had friends with us from Israel. And I was watching sometimes news, maybe once every 2-3 days. And the only news channel available on the ship was Fox News. So in the Fox News, of course, it was Trump saying that it's a hoax, it's nothing, we're well prepared, there is nothing to even talk about. And over a dinner, I told my friends from Israel, that's what I've heard, that's what it is. They looked at me and asked me to show this news, Fox News, apparently, in one place in my body, telling me that they were contacted by their children from Israel. They told them that, first of all, they have to immediately change tickets from flying back by Alitalia, fly through Spain or Germany or any other place, because there were flights terminated. The situation in Italy was worsening every day, so in other countries, in China and elsewhere. That's what they did. They lost a few $1,000s, but they had to buy new tickets and flying back through Madrid. So again, we were together on a ship. We had access to, that's what I thought, the same information. But you know what? It's not the same information. I was consuming information from Fox News, and consuming information in the real world. Here we go. And we live in different realities, and we are together in the same space. That's how it works. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean the thing is that's the real problem. Is the thing is what media are you listening to, and what information are you actually getting? And it actually can be distorted, and that was a big problem with this, is getting it. The other real problem, Sasha, as you well know, you're always getting data, and data is always historical. In other words, so when we see 200,000 people in the United States that are currently infected, that's not real. It's higher. We just don't know how much higher, because people have to get tested. We have about 4,000 I think we're over 5,000 people passed away already. Well, that's historical also. By tomorrow, it's going to be different. But what you can do with data is you can project into the future, which is the reason I told Ankit and on this channel, everybody, that we're going to go over 250,000 next week. And I said that last week, because you can project the data on a going forward basis. Now, with that, the market is up, Kim. I did check it up, 379, but that's all fictitious. Okay, and the reason why is that the data is going to be bad the next 2 months, and the market's going to go straight down. The only question is when. It'll happen either in April or May. Since, as you guys know, we manage pension assets all over the country, and in December I was in New York City telling people to move all to cash, and we moved tons of money to cash in December. Why? Because we believed, without a lot of evidence, that the market was high and was going to have a correction either this year or next year. We were that far ahead. A lot of our clients listened to us, so we're 99% seriously of our clients in cash, and we get calls, how are we doing? Fine. But some of them don't listen, just like in Australia, Willie, where some of them will go to the beach, some of them will listen, and then they're in safe play. Well, it's pretty easy to predict what's going to happen here in the next 2 months. Okay, it's going to be bad news in America and bad news all over the world, and we need to shift toward more virtual ways of doing business. And that's the reason the fashion show can be done virtually. There's nothing that says it could not be done.
Actually, send me an outfit. I'll wear it.
Wear it.
Okay, thank you. Well, send me an address. I'd love to try.
Yeah.
I'm going to take you up on this one. I've already got my head working on it.
Yeah.
And I hope I can be back to do a virtual show on your show.
Yeah, and Kim, remember in our business plan about a year ago, we actually did have a fashion channel, was listed in our plan about a year ago, but the problem is actually staffing and delivering it and have somebody that knows.
We want somebody who can do the fashion talks with us as well, and do lifestyle fashion talks and how technology is helping you, but just have a daily talk show. Yeah. But also just fashion itself. But I'm going to tell you what, I have not been out I self-contained 4 weeks ago. I'm not seen a store. I don't shop online very well because I don't trust those clothes. So, hey, I'm in. Let's do a fashion show.
So you'd be our first pick. You'd be our supermodel.
I don't know about supermodel. I'm a little chunky. But,
but it's all about body positivity now. So size is no more relevant in today's world.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's about your confidence in yourself.
Exactly.
And, but clothes can help, hair can help, makeup, all of those things kind of help. So,
but I think the virtual fashion show for a global audience would make certainly sense, and then I think people can also book their dresses online, and then we can deliver.
First do it from just the point of being able to do it, like a startup. Because right now everyone's in a lockdown, and later we can probably
we can deliver it.
Yeah, because
we would do a trial run.
We can mix this up.
I would like to know what are the impacts when, because at least, Italy is completely down and Italy is one of the fashion capitals of the world. So, how the competition changes once the lockdown gets over? Do you see China doing something for fashion industry in between somewhere?
Well, China has been our supplier. Fashion has thrived because of China and India and some of the other manufacturing belts, because it's a very important component of the world's fashion, frankly. Everything we may be wearing, hearing, or right now touching around us may have parts which are made in China. So, but yes, as a country, as an individual, we can go on without them. It's not that it's not possible.
Yeah, and the thing is, the stores that sell them, like Nordstrom, Macy's, Saks, they're all closed. Okay, but the virtual stores are all open. As a matter of fact, we have the dollar store online is up 430% or 450%. All the online real areas have actually gone up during this period of time. They have not gone down. And so the online delivery is changing. You can do book clubs virtually. I had to meet my granddaughters yesterday virtually. So a lot of stuff can be done virtually. It always could be. But people just never, we don't like to change. And so the thing is, it takes a while. So a virtual fashion show certainly could be done and certainly could attract a worldwide audience. And then people could actually buy online. I mean, I buy a lot of stuff online now as opposed to having to go in there. Now, I think having fashion's a little more difficult because you like to see, well, will this fit me? You see what I mean? But after a while, you actually know your sizes. So, people know what
you've been great to talk to. I'm going to go now because it's kind of evening here. It's your day.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's late.
It's really nice being with you guys.
Nice to see you. Yes,
and
right.
I will probably be back, and I hope you have me on my virtual show. And we will do it.
All right, grazie. All right, thank you. That means thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking time and being a guest.
Spasiba.
Namaste.
Namaste. It's the best way to go today.
Right.
That's right.
And your fingertips are touching, so it's a very good thing, health-wise.
Right. We'll see you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Wow, that was exciting.
Or as they say in Russian, spasiba.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, it was one of the few words I learned when I Stony Beck Pais. That was the only other thing I learned when I was in Russia. That means I'm hungry, I want to eat, or something like that. Yakatilbek Stony Beck Pais. Feed me, please. So I learned a little bit of Russian when I was over there, but not much.
But nice.
Nick learns the important words.
I learned the important words. I want to eat. Thank you. I want to eat. Thank you for feeding me. End of vocabulary in Russia.
And the most important words in Italian that I know of are quanto costa.
Quanto costa. Yeah. Grazie.
Grazie.
So, okay, Anke, that's very good. So we got our fashion show lined up, or will be lined up, on COVID-19 International Fashion Show. My granddaughters will watch that, by the way, because they love this stuff. So, and there's no place to go that I know of, at least in media, Kim. I don't know any fashion shows that are out there. I mean, they usually
individual. People are doing their own individual.
Yeah, usually like on CBS, they'll show a clip of the Paris fashion show for like 1 minute and then it's gone. You won't see anything else, and so it's really hard to have that out there right now. It's like a niche audience, but I think it's a potential pretty big audience.
You have to be just a niche. And I think what will make this unique is engagement. Professionals.
Right.
Okay, this is a professional. It will be live engagement.
Yeah.
You could even have people register to win a chance to model an outfit. So,
Rena knows the industry. See, I just don't know that whole industry. I mean, the thing is, it's just like chess. Okay. Down there, you have Sasha. I mean, chess is a cult. There's a whole cult chess industry out there. Okay, you're starting to figure that out. Sasha already knows that. People go to chess.com. He even has a website himself where you can play chess. Okay, and the thing is, there's a whole group of people that they play chess all over the world. They all know each other. They all know the top players. They know the tournaments, which have all been canceled, but they play online at chess.com or League Chess.
Yeah. Our buddy Elliot, he's doing a tournament. I don't know if I missed it yet, but he was announcing it yesterday.
Right.
They're doing a speed chess competition. They're going to get viewers on. They're giving away chess boards. So if you want to get in on the speed chess competition with Elliot Neff,
are they doing it virtually? Virtually? Right. Okay. Yeah. Because the thing is, chess has done online so much that major chess clubs like the Manhattan, where Bobby Fischer used to play, closed. And I talked to Asa Hoffman, who you probably know, Sasha. Asa and I used to play all the time. When I went to New York, I used to play. Az and I, we would play for hours, literally, speed chess. And he actually played a lot with Bobby Fischer years ago. And me, that's his claim to fame. Okay, the thing is, and then one time I went up and I say, Az, why aren't we going to play? He goes, they closed the Manhattan Club. Why? He said, the online activity is so strong that people aren't going to clubs anymore. Now, that was like 20 years ago. In the 1990s. So the chess players all morphed online years ago. But other industries haven't done that because they're more sociable than chess players. Chess players tend to be hermits. So the thing is, the fashion industry has not morphed over to an online activity. And there's a lot of places that could be done online that have never morphed over. You could do book clubs online.
I think I'm going to start a bar online, and you drink from home, but you line up like this. You're leaning on your thing.
There you go. See,
Sasha, into today's bar.
Okay, see, Sasha would join that because we all know in Russia.
Sasha could be the bartender. There's only drink something. He'll go, "What do you want?" And he goes, "I recommend this," and they can go order it.
Okay. Listen, in Russia, there's only 3 things they do in Russia. Okay, because when I was there, they said, "What is the big 3 things you do in Russia?" He goes, "Ballet, chess, and vodka." And not necessarily in that order. Okay, so the thing is, you kind of get to know that it's a whole different cat over there. So anyway, what's that?
I read in the news today that Magnus Carlsen will organize a very big international chess tournament online, and they will play real chess games, not blitz, not rapid games, but real tournament games. There will be 8 players, and the prize fund is announced 250,000 either euros or dollars.
Wow, that's a lot. But they're only going to invite the top grandmasters, right? That's going to be
of course. It's just the top grandmasters. But people can watch it online on Chess24, I believe, and there will be commentaries, live commentaries, of course, as they usually do, in 9 languages.
Right.
So it starts on April 11th.
Is that going to be on chess.com? Is that on chess.com?
It's on Chess24. Maybe chess.com will be able to rebroadcast it, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. But Chess24 is just as good.
Yeah.
In terms of broadcasting.
Yeah, and broadcasting, right. Yeah.
They're doing very, very good commentary. Jan Gustafsson, Peter Svidler does a lot. So it's quite interesting.
Right. Yeah. They're, but the thing is, like I said, chess has morphed that way. But there's certain things that you just can't do online. Like if cricket, I don't think they have online cricket. Soccer or what they call football cannot be done online. So the problem with a lot of sports, it just doesn't morph very well online. EA Sports have taken off, esports, and we actually have that on our business plan to do esports. And I watched an esports channel just the other day. It was a football game, and it was played all online virtually. There was no people; it was all computers playing. It was kind of interesting, but for the most part, a lot of sports, you just can't you can't do online. Fashion you can do online. So the thing is, as people work on this, you can actually morph things over to more of online activities. The pharmaceutical industry, which is boring and dry, but we're going to go over because we'll have plenty of airtime if we're going to do this between now and 7:30. Is that what it is, Ankit? Every day? When are we going to do this? Tell me when the start.
Not right now. We're practicing.
We are still practicing and we are practicing, and we need your support because you have to be also, taking those couple of hours out of your.
So we I
got that. Yeah. Well, for me, it's easier if it went that long because then when I'm missing appointments, I'll just jump on this. In other words, so that's not a real problem because sometimes I try to jump on this and I can't because you guys are already done. So it's just the way it is. What do we have here?
So when you talk about the sports are not going on, so I'll show you what people are playing right now during the COVID-19.
Yeah. What's that?
Marbles in the blocks, and they're off. Comet taking the early lead over the Flash. That's Reflector, Mocha Madness. Reflector up into second now. Mocha Madness. There's Deep Ocean flying up into second place.
That's people are doing during COVID-19.
Loses out second place to Reflector.
That's a marble race. Are you kidding me?
And you know how they made it? They used their backyard and create the race course, and then marbles are running and fighting each other. Who wins?
They snake through the S's.
Yeah. See, here's the problem with stuff like that, Kit. If it was in the United States and it was in Las Vegas, people would bet on the marbles. They go, I want to bet on number one marble. I want to bet on the blue one. You know.
But Sasha and I, we need to get them betting on chess.
Well, see, in Las Vegas,
we should probably start that now.
Okay, in Las Vegas, they'll bet on anything, and they'll bet on that. They'll seriously, because I know some of these people are professional gamblers. They'll bet on anything. They'll bet on marbles. Okay, it's just the nature of the beast in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is closed. Do you know how hard it is to be a professional gambler and all your gambling thing is closed?
I think they do online poker.
You can do online poker. Yes, the online poker site.
It's not safe. It's just like in any other game you play, like chess. When you play online, you got cheaters. So, but
wait. Chess players would never cheat. Sasha, tell Kim chess players never cheat online.
Some never cheat. Some always cheat. And some always depends on what's your opponent. If you're 2200 and you're playing 1800, you may elect not to cheat because you win anyway. But all of a sudden you lose. So you say, okay, so the guy is using engine, so I'm going to use engine just as well. Okay, so now we are both cheating. I want to tell you something. Where nobody can cheat, it's our chess stars contests, where you have to predict the moves. This is something that cheating is impossible, simply because all information is in front of you. You see the board, you look at commentaries, you see the top 3 moves by Stockfish, which is a top computer program. So there is nothing you can cheat. And in fact, as I said before, Gary Kasparov, who was on the opening of our site and who was predicting the moves, he did so. He predicted right probably a third of the moves, because his understanding of the game is so superior to anybody else. So people who were playing the games, they couldn't find always the moves what Gary Kasparov could see in a moment. However, surprise is that the 2 players who played that game that Gary Kasparov was commenting and predicting the moves, white was Wesley So, US Super Grandmaster, and the black was Alexandra Kostyniuk, a former world champion, a woman grandmaster from Russia. So they're not your average chess players, and this is what happened. So this is, and he endorsed the site, and he was really fascinating that what we came up with. And I think in the near future we will be able to show how it works on IBM TV. That's the plan.
Yeah. Actually, we should be able to stream that. On this new Yard Stream deal that we're working with, because apparently ANKIT has figured out how to keep us from being hacked, unlike some other places, So, but by the way, the hacking that they did on that was apparently really bad. I haven't checked.
Share with us who got hacked, so the rest of the world can know not to be careful. Who got hacked?
I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you in private. The thing is, we have to be very careful what we say here, especially on live television, and who we talk about.
Well, I am going to tell the world that the Durham Police Department got hacked a week ago, so be very careful. They're asking for calls to slow down until they get things called up, because they got shut down with malware. So I will share that, because people were wondering, why. What the problem was. So in Durham, North Carolina, on the same day that they shut Durham down, like the city down, the police department got hacked. So
and their stock took a hit. once people found out they got hacked. Where Yardstream, the one that we use, they haven't taken a hit, but they're private companies, so private companies have a little more of an advantage of that. But I do like how they operate. Oh, speaking about private companies and the dollar store. Okay, now I'm going to throw that one up there. Unfortunately, it's only available in the United States. But did you want me to get Lynn Shepard on, the person who's our sponsor on that?
We can talk to Lynn about the dollar store. What's really cool is they have paper products.
They do.
So you can order paper products and have them delivered to your home.
Right.
They have Minion, really cute Minion napkins.
Right.
But they do have items that you could buy, at a very low price.
Right.
So
well,
he's trying to get it established globally. So
they're going to go global. But the thing is, they also have 72-hour survival kits. Okay, which apparently are very popular. And I'm trying to think what would happen here that I need a 72-hour survival kit. I'm not really sure, being in the middle of the boonies in North Carolina, but who knows after what just happened, maybe everybody having 72-hour survival kits is not a bad idea,
Well, you got to ask yourself, survival of what, too? What does the kit provide?
Well, I mean, one real problem that we haven't faced, okay, but we'll throw it on the table here, is food shortages, okay? Gas prices are already down. We already checked that globally. But something that no one's addressed is food shortages. I do know here in the United States, if you go in, at least where I'm at, and you try to buy milk and eggs, they fly off the shelf. There are no eggs. I don't know if that happens to Australia, mate, but there are no eggs here. They're gone. And every shelf, every time I've gone there, there's some milk, but you can't get the milk you want. You have to get the milk that they're going to sell to you. All the paper products, or the toilet paper, like you told us a long time ago before it even happened here, Willie, all gone. I mean, seriously, they flew off the shelves. In Australia, are you seeing a shortage, and this could be a serious problem, a shortage of food products in Australia?
They did start with some restrictions, but then they've pulled that away. It's kind of picked out on that. When I got the toilet paper a week ago, they had the security guards handing them out like this is like ration out.
Like they're gold. What about eggs? I'm just curious because eggs are completely off.
The egg rack normally had like a meter high. Mm-hmm. They had 3 egg racks, about a meter high, and they were down to like 1/3 of that.
Okay, but you still have them available.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Now, Sasha, in Canada, are you able to get eggs, or what's the story on food? Since they arrest you if you just drive down the street there, what about food?
Apparently, everything is available. It was interesting that yesterday, during the show, by the way, I got a call from a local real estate agent. Mm-hmm. She told me that she's doing volunteer work and she's doing food deliveries to senior citizens, and she asked me if she can do anything for me. So I asked her to bring 2 cigars. So today she phoned me that the cigar store that I referred her to is closed, and she has to phone before she would come there, and she would have to tell exactly what kind of cigars she needs to buy. So I told her the name of the cigars. It's Caiba Robusta. And I expect her to bring it today. She told me after 2 o'clock. So hope she will be able to do that. Nick, about online shows, what do you think about the cooking classes or cooking shows?
Yeah, the thing is, the cooking shows can be done, but the thing is, they actually show on a lot of channels around here.
Yeah.
If you want to go see a cooking show, you can go to see
saturated market.
It's saturated, right? And the thing is, I'm not really interested in saturated programming because they go, well, we could watch a cooking show here, but we can watch it there. Fashion's a different story. The reason I'm interested is there's no fashion shows. In other words, you go to PBS, you're not going to see a fashion show. They just don't do it, And it's just like chess. If you want to see chess, you can go to chess.com. You can go to Chess Stars, which you have. You can go to Lie Chess and ICC. I mean, it's a very limited, and there's no major programming. In other words, if you went to any major network, you're not going to see any of it. CoVid19, the one that we're doing, the COVID-19 show, if we do move to, and Kim and Ankit are pushing this to a 24-hour service, let's put it that way, we'll be the only ones that do 24 hours on this. I was looking at CNN, and they were shifting over to the Women's World Surfing Contest or something like that. CNN has to cover a broad variety of news. Okay, and CNN started as cable network news, 24-hour news, and it morphed into what it is today, which is actually pretty big worldwide. COVID-19, I believe, is going to be around for a while, and having a 24-hour station on COVID-19 will be the only one. You see what I mean? And that's a pretty big niche. The problem is, Sasha, we don't have enough people to staff it right now. In other words, to go 24/7.
Differences and so on. That's but it's not impossible.
Not impossible. In other words, the thing is, we can ratchet up. And the reason I'm looking at that is this thing is probably not going to go away in the next couple months. In other words, we're going to be slugging our way through this. According to one commentator, 18 months of this. That's a long time, buddy.
You know how much time the Ebola vaccine took? How many years?
Pardon?
How many years the Ebola vaccine took to come into the market for the patient? 5 years.
5 years? Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, Ankit, the COVID-19 stuff could be going on for 18 months, definitely the next several months. But we need is enough people to basically staff it so we can go 24/7, and that's really kind of the problem. Now, as more people just stay at home and have nothing to do, we'll be able to find probably more people to staff it, because then they're starting to realize the new normal is you're going to be staying at home, nothing to do. What do you want to do? And then so I think as time goes by, we'll get more people to staff it, and then we'll be actually able to go live 24/7. And if we do that, we'll be the only station that I know of that is 24/7 on COVID-19. And when there's a lot of material, I just went through some boring biotech stocks. I only went through 3 or 4 of them. There's 19 of them to go through. We haven't gone through all that material, and I haven't synthesized it to put it on the air, really. I'm just reading off one of the reports. 41 vaccines, okay? Nobody covers that. I have to go to the news. I actually go to pull Market Watch, Sasha, to find out who's doing the developments of this, because if I try to watch it on television, nobody tells you about the 41 vaccines that are being developed right now.
Well, maybe we can get some doctors on to discuss.
I actually have one of them that we'll have on next week that actually specializes in that area, but he's not with the majors that I've just mentioned that I know of, but he's with one of the minors. He's in the minor leagues, I guess you could call it, of COVID-19 development. But and again, one of the problems of getting these people on is they're so busy doing the development, it's hard to get them their time and shift over. But over time, we will have them on IBM TV, because we'll be the only one doing COVID-19 24/7. So my question to you guys is, when we'll be able to get to 24/7? It's like, when are you going to solve COVID-19? When are we going to get to 24/7? You know, any time frame on this? Anybody?
Well, I think we have to divide the 24 hours between different regions because of time differences. So while people, for example, in Australia, when you will start covering things, it will be probably a night time in North America. Then we need definitely somebody in Europe. We have, of course, correspondents in India. So I think it's quite possible to organize it. We can do it probably even before the end of the month.
Yeah. Okay.
Organize hours. People responsible for this, say, 2-3 hour segment. Just do it. So 24 hours could be divided in 8 segments, 3 hours each, and just fill it.
Yeah. Or you could do like ESPN does. They do replays. I'm not kidding. In other words, they'll do Sports Center is on now, and I'd watch it, and then it's on again, and I'm going, oh, new parts of Sports Center. No, they just replayed what you saw an hour ago. I'm not kidding. Well, my question is, Ankit, are we able to replays live stream? Can we do replays on live stream?
Well, no, people can play back because we record. So we are video on demand. So, but we set it up a certain way to be able to do that. You have to understand how to do this to be able to do that. But they can play back after we finish.
Oh yeah, no, I know that. But can we be live but not really? In other words, because you're live but not really. Here's the deal. Okay, it's running on StreamYard live, but not really, because what you're doing is you're replaying it.
So we're at a 3-second delay when it hits live stream.
Really?
So yeah.
Oh,
so we
yeah.
can be doing something live stream, and if you can bet fast enough in 3 seconds, you might be able to beat somebody.
Well, then that brings to another question. Okay, since we're on 3-second delay, if something bad happens, can ANKIT stop it from India?
You would have to have it.
Yeah. So basically, I can stop it, but then also because I am not set what you are watching right now on the screen and what I am watching is same, because I think that is also deferred.
Okay.
Maybe for some milliseconds.
And
also
we don't pause. We don't have to pause.
You should open two laptops.
Okay.
Then only they can do those things. And I think it's difficult to do that. But we can try it out. I mean, maybe we can try amongst us and start doing some kind of a game show on this weekend.
Okay. All right. No, I was just curious. Because, like I said, this is all sort of news to me, and it's relatively new.
We'll put together a music weekend, and maybe we can intermix, because that's not going to happen right away.
Right.
Maybe we can intermix the fashion show during that weekend.
Yeah.
So we can have different things coming all through the weekend, music, fashion show, but things that people are doing at home. And do something all weekend. ANKIT has been coming up with some great ideas to run at marathon conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we're building, but we need more content providers. We need people who are willing to join us and carry the conversation for us.
Right. Yeah. No,
I scheduled the 24-hour show, but we need to fill with the right content, and I will request all my viewers to email us and share their ideas so that we can incorporate everything and start the marathon show as soon as possible.
Right.
But
yeah.
the huge demand of all the viewers is that Nick should be available for at least 8 to 10 hours on the show. Then only they'll watch it.
Okay.
The person we're missing is the vertical that will cover the timeline from Johannesburg all the way up to London. If we had somebody in that vertical, we can cover. If we do 2-hour shifts across the city.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Go ahead, ANKIT.
I'll do it. Whatever.
I don't think ANKIT sleeps anymore.
ANKIT sleeps. I mean, ANKIT sleep. You know, I mean, the thing is, I do know what you're talking about, Willie. We need somebody in the European area to cover that vertical, but you know, that I think that'll come as time comes by. We'll eventually find it. It's just like this. The thing is, the COVID-19 is really something that is hot, but it'll as it continues to grow, we're going to continue to grow. It's just the way it is. Because,
but Nick, we have a 3 to 4 hour window where we'll be showcasing a lot of movies to our viewers during that 24-hour show.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's.
And speaking of movies, too, watch 93 Days. It is very much. It's a true story. It's very much what it takes. It's everything about what it takes to stop a pandemic. Maybe we don't need to be watching that. It's too late. But it is everything that you should do when something like this happens. It's a true story. They had 23 million people in one city to protect. Think about that. 23 million people in one city. And they were able to contain it in days. Where their success rate all over the world was very poor, and you know they told the people 8 out of 10 people don't go home, they die, and they reversed that. They literally they ended up getting 19 people infected, and 8 people died. So that it changed a little bit, but the thing is that they reacted fast. They didn't care about their job positions or their popularity or money. They cared about lives.
And is 93 days available? Is it free?
Yeah, it's free on IBM TV because I sorted it out. Yeah.
93 days available on IBM TV? You're kidding me. So I can go to IBM TV and watch 93 days.
It's free in other places, but I sort it out and find the ones that are free, and I share them on IBM TV. So anything, I'm trying to look for good content, good movies that we can provide for free. And so right now it's available IBM TV, 93 days. It's a true story. Danny Glover stars in it. We all love Danny Glover. Who doesn't like Danny Glover, right? But he's not funny in this movie. He's very serious. It's a good movie. I was skeptical before I started watching it, and I said, I probably need to watch this because of what we're dealing with today. And it makes perfectly good sense. It really does. Too bad our leaders didn't see this movie before all of this happened, because it was about taking ownership of the situation, not worrying about the popularity vote. People were making decisions that weren't popular, that they were being threatened over for making that decision. And they knew that their jobs would be at risk, but they would rather their jobs be at risk and save lives than the other way. So they stopped it. And with, unfortunately, some deaths, but not at our rate.
Yeah, not the level we're looking at, because the thing is, one of the demographics that we are looking at, it like in Afghanistan, this whole thing that the United States did with Afghanistan took 17 years and 2,400 lives, and several $1 trillion, I think 1.7 trillion. We're at 5,000 deaths, 2.2 trillion. And nothing in sight. In other words, in terms of when this thing actually ends. And like I said, the commentators are showing 18 months right now.
Yeah.
18 months of COVID-19. Are people going to be able to survive economically for 18 months staying at home? And so that cannot be the only solution, which leads me to believe that one thing we do need to do is have people COVID certified. In other words, because
that requires test kits.
Oh, Lord forbid! You got to have test kits. Okay, but the thing is, you have the technology with test kits, cell phones, and certification that now these people are free to move around the country. You see what I mean? Because the thing is, they're COVID-19. Now, with that, here's the downside. Let's say they are COVID-19 certified, but then they run into somebody who isn't. All of a sudden, they're
and we also got to take a look and maybe have more strong conversations about the financial situation people are in. And Nick is going to be holding a stimulus review seminar April 8th, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah, 1 o'clock. Right. Yeah.
And it will review the stimulus package. It hopefully will help you understand how it will benefit you. Will they be able to ask you questions, Nick? Yeah,
they're actually able to do that. And my friend Max Culette will join us. Right now we're running it on GoToWebinar. So you're going to have to ask for an invite to go to this. But we can freely provide you an invite if you sign up at IBM TV. Matter of fact, we'll make sure that all the people at IBM TV know where the invite is to get there. But it's an invitation only, so it's going to be about the $2.2 trillion stimulus package. And Max Culette, who's a certified financial planner, will actually be leading the discussion on this. And that's one reason he has me scheduled to do some reviews at 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock on, they call it the CARES Act, which is really a $2.2 trillion stimulus they have in the United States. Now, we also know that apparently this is going worldwide. They have a stimulus package in Russia. Not Russia, Canada. It's more generous. And so I saw the one in Canada. In other words, we're giving them $1,200 total. That's it. Okay. Canada, they give you like $2,000 every month for 3 months.
But it's only Canadian dollars and US.
Listen, when I was in Bellingham, Washington, the Canadian dollars were worth more than the American dollars. Okay, so only Canadian dollars. Hey, your dollar's worth more than ours. At least it was.
Willie's already received 3 stimulus packages. They've already received 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the thing is, the stimulus. Now, what about in India? Have you started getting some checks, Anka?
We don't get checks directly because, I mean, if you talk about the population, there are a lot of divisions. So people who are under the poverty line or maybe below the middle class, they are getting some payments on monthly basis. But we are getting, indirect benefits through different ways in terms of the tax benefits, maybe in terms of the utility benefits, in terms of the other taxes. What is it? I mean, and as far as stimulus is concerned, we don't do stimulus directly. But what we do is we basically sideline some money or some fund to a particular ministry, and then that ministry will manage that for the welfare of the citizens in different areas.
Oh, okay.
So that's the difference. Yeah.
Okay. So
it's not like directly giving you money and then doing it. So generally, people who are below the poverty line, they get money directly on their account, and also people who are doing the agriculture because they suffer a lot of natural disasters and floods and all those things. So that's what it is in India.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because we need everybody to do that so our dollar won't be devalued.
You won't believe. Nick, I'll tell you what happens. So we have a lot of temples in India. And if we collect all the gold of all the temples, we don't have to pay for gas for next 500 years.
Oh, really? Wow. Okay. Yeah, but I don't think they're going to do that.
So we have gold and diamond hiding in our temples and places where it's all either by the temple association or by the government.
Okay, yeah.
So that was that what we got after the Britishers took most of them, but we still have a lot of things left in India.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. They do tend to try to move everything to London for whatever reason. You know, they go, "Hey, we're here now. We're going to bring it over to London." You know, but they're not doing that anymore. They're out of the whole deal. Okay. So the thing is, there is a stimulus package there. So I think they're going to see that throughout the whole world. You know, there's going to be various different stimulus packages. Ours is pretty significant and pretty complicated. You know, so some companies get it, small businesses. We have a gig economy, and you have to go through a certain amount of red tape to get it. And you get various different amounts.
And it's 890 pages, and if you make more than $75,000 a year, you get nothing. So
I think that's single people. If you're married, it's 150,000.
If you're married, yeah, but it's what it boils down to is $1,200 per person. If you're married, $2,400.
Right.
And you know, but if you make more than 75,000,
yeah.
You don't get anything.
Yeah, you don't get anything. But you know, the thing is, it also varies here because it depends where you live, how much $2,400 means. If you live in New York City and you get $2,400, well, that was the meal ticket for that. That was your rent for the month. Or, you know, I mean, seriously, if it's in North Carolina, well, that'll last me.
$2,400 is for one room.
That'll last me a whole year. I mean, you know, so it depends on where you live.
$2,400 won't include the bathroom. No, Nick,
that's true.
So when I read the stimulus, it was more about a bailout package. And I talked to a friend of mine in the government office about this, which they won't come on TV to talk about. But it's more about a bailout for U.S. And if you look at it and read it, it's more about the top.
Oh, yeah,
protecting the top.
Yeah, who makes
the airlines have 2 packages that they can apply to. That are in the millions and billions of dollars. One is a loan package, which again is going to be explained by Nick to people because they're more educated in this area. But from what I read, it's a loan package and a grant package so far. Right. So they're getting 2 options. But Nick, what I want you guys to research: what is the evacuation package for? Who's that for? Who gets that?
Evacuation package. Where are you going to?
Yeah, it's in the stimulus, right? There's a clause in there about evacuation.
Oh, I have to go check that. See what that evacuation. I haven't read it yet. It's 890 pages. You just told me that. That'll take me. That'll take me a couple hours. I'll take a couple hours. That's on my
Nick, you're not paying your people enough to research this. 890 pages.
No. The thing is, I'll read the 890 pages. It'll take me about an hour or two. Give me a little.
Well, you can scan it because you know what to look for.
I do know what to look for, right?
I mean, I scanned it for certain items. Like I wanted to see what's going to happen with the student loans. That bailout is a joke, but you know what they say is they're going to let you defer your payments to September. Mm-hmm. Everybody's going to think it's penalty free, but it will be accruing interest. It might defer the interest for 60 days. It might not. So read whatever terms they give you. Read them all the way through. Don't look at the title and it says student loan deferred to September without penalties. It's without interest for maybe 30 days. You might not qualify for that. And there are ways to defer your credit card payments and other things, but you have to qualify for them. And like Nick said, it's a process. You're just not going to get it tomorrow. And the $1,200, there was talk about it being in a digital wallet. So that's going to cost you as well. So by the time you get that $1,200, it might be $700. So, but Nick's people know more about it than I do. Nick?
So, Kim, is it a one-time payment or you'll be getting payments monthly? I mean, how it works?
No, it's just one-time payment. Nick?
I'm here.
Nick.
Barely.
Tell him it's one-time payment.
It's one time. That's it. You know.
It's in half time.
Yeah. Good luck to you. You know.
Like Nick said, it might cover your rent.
Yeah. Depending what city you're in. If you live in New York City or San Francisco, it'll pay 1 month's rent. That's it. Okay, if you live in the boonies in North Carolina, hey, we can live here for a year, 2,400.
Well, not my place, but
not in your place, but in some of the rural areas. Yeah, so it depends on where you're at. I think it's better than the complete top-down stimulus, which they continued to do for years. But there's also a top-down stimulus package there as well. So it's not just for that. What I'm looking for right now, Kim, is the letter from the prince. Remember, you asked the Prince Constantine, and he actually did send us a reply.
A long one. I read it. I read part of it.
Yeah, I was going to read it. I was going to read it on the air.
But he doesn't want to be publicly exposed, so I'm being very careful.
Yeah.
He wants to wait things out, but the message is there that we need to take stronger steps to stamp out this monster.
Yeah.
I don't think we could have
worked. New Zealand is not doing good in terms of COVID. And the numbers are showing that there are more 1,000 cases recorded today, and they have around 160 in the Netherlands.
160?
166.
Wow. Okay. So he feels like they don't have it under control yet.
Yeah, that's what it's saying, and I was going to read parts of it. I thought it was pretty interesting. His insights on that.
It was very impactful.
Yeah,
it was long. It was very long.
Yeah. First of all, the thing is, the bottom line is that he could not comment on giving his position. You know, so he couldn't really come on the air and talk about it. Basically, bottom line. And second of all, the thing is, he said that even though you saw that downturn, they're not saying they have that under control. And Kit. Okay, so he was a little bit more reserved about it, but he was responsive at least. So when we sent him an email about, hey, what's going on in the Netherlands, it's not as rosy as that graph that you showed looks like. But you may want to go check that graph again. I don't know if you have that.
He just did. He just shared it with us.
He did? Okay. I was looking for his email. I got like 150 emails.
I know.
And so I'm like,
the point is that you know they are struggling and just doing the most they can. They were counting on. They're afraid of what has happened in the U.S. There's great fear of what's going on in the U.S. and that you know we need to get it under control. We need to hunt it down and stamp it out. That's it. Final. We don't need to be messing around with this anymore. People need to take it serious.
Right.
And But Nick, yeah, it's a good letter. It was a well-defined letter of, did you find it? Do you want me to resend it to you?
I can't find it. I mean,
I'll resend it.
It's in one of my emails, but I get like 3 different services. And
I'll
probably
resend it. I commented back to him yesterday.
I probably get 300 to 400 emails a day. And so things for me to go find one. I even had to put it through the search engine, but
I'll resend it to you.
So it may be on a different server. So like I said, finding things are next.
Because there's something in there you want to share with people, and I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah, but I mean his comment is that he can't. But his comment is basically, given his position, he can't comment. I thought that was quite interesting, you know. And I can see that's got to be very sensitive. In other words, anything he says regarding this would be very sensitive by the, the government of the Netherlands. So he has to be.
So something I learned from Fossey, because I read Fossey's interview, the written interview, and one of the things Fossey said is you have to be very careful, even though you're sitting there and you know what you told the president, and he gets on the stage and says something else. You have to handle it with facts and tact. That's right. His way of doing things. Fossey says you have to be factual and very tactful. And he said there have been times he wanted to dive on, and the president said, "Whoa, what did you just say? That's not what we just talked about." So, but these people have to be careful for their jobs, just like a leader has to be careful about how he relays things. And,
sure.
So
Fossey has to be very, very sensitive, because whatever he says gets amplified all over the place. In other words, the thing is, he said this, which now everybody's repeating: 100,000 to 250,000 deaths in the United States.
Right.
Okay, now
the thing is nobody was listening to Fossey in the beginning.
Well, I think he
went to all of the alternative media outlets. He went to every one of them except us, unfortunately. Right. Well, we didn't exist. We didn't exist.
We don't exist. We're covert.
We weren't at the time. We were starting. So, but he went to TED Talks. He went to radio stations. Just people, listen to me, please, because he knew that it wasn't being told at the top media level, that they were only feeding what they were hearing from the president himself. So Fossey went out. If you read that interview, he went out to everyone that he hoped would listen.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. But I think the reason he put that number out is so you get the attention of the American public, because otherwise we just shrug our shoulders. So when he said 100,000 to 250,000, that gets people's attention. 5,000 people
I think it's going to be 300,000 to 500 next week, because we haven't had test results that were accurate.
Yeah, but see, also the thing is, if you look at 200,000 at 3%, the death mortality rate 6,000. Okay, so because we're hitting around a 3% mortality, so it's not really that exciting. If his numbers are true, let's say 100,000, then what he's really saying is that we may have 3-5 million people infected. In other words, it's a lot bigger number. In other words, we're going to go
at the end of the story. It's going to be in the millions at the end of the story.
Yeah, in other words, the infected.
Issued. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm saying to get a 100,000 death rate, you're going to need about 30 million people infected, or so. In other words, it's going to be a much.
So, did you read the story about patient 31 that Ankit shared with us?
No.
And how many people patient 31 infected in South Korea alone?
Yeah.
Didn't even talk about how many she infected other places. It was over 7,000 people. It was over 60% of the infected people were infected by patient 31.
Really?
7,000.
Yeah.
So I'll share it with you here in a minute. Our scientist, Scarlett, she's in touch with all the scientists. She sent me a video that showed you the calculation of how many one person can infect in 14 days. And I'll bring that up, because that's real math.
Okay, but see if that's the math on it. We're looking at 10 million. We're looking to go over 1 million, probably 10 million people that are infected. I mean, it's just the nature of the beast. Or at least 5 to 10 million.
Reaching 1%.
We're looking
reaching 1 million today around the world.
Okay, yeah. Well, in the United States, if Fossey is correct, we're looking in the millions in the United States of people that are infected. We're going to 5 to 10 million on the low side. Okay, we haven't hit the million infected mark yet, but we're early on. What are we, just like the second day of April, growing at?
If we don't extend our lockdown in India, the numbers will rise in India as well, because it's not going to stop within 3 weeks of lockdown. And now, as we are discussing with all the doctors and experts and the people around the world, it should be 90 days. Then only we can make sure that blockchain or the transfusion for community spread will stop. And that's how we can save ourselves, I think. So 3 weeks is not a good time for quarantining and for trying to stop the spread. I think it should be 90 days. That's how the countries in different parts of the world, they've extended the lockdown.
Okay, so here's the deal here. By the first week of May or the second week of May, we will have over 1 million people infected in the United States. Okay, and so then that'll get people's attention for the first time at the rate that we're going. In other words, the million person mark gets people's attention, not how many do we have, 200,000, but 1 million to 2 million people infected, and by the second week of May, Kim, that's going to be a huge number. That's what we're looking at. That's our current progression rate. By May 15th, we'll have definitely over 1 million.
Well, if you see this video I'm going to share here in a minute, you'll see how the math adds up. If you bear with me a second, I'll pull up the video that our scientist sent me.
The math ain't good. I've been playing with 3 computers simultaneously, and all my computers say math not good. Okay. Alexa, how many people have coronavirus? Let me bring Alexa on, see if she knows.
Ask her to do the math.
This might answer your question. According to Reuters, as of today, April 2nd, 2020, there are 935,392 cases of novel coronavirus worldwide. Additionally, there have been 46,906 deaths and 190,384 recoveries. The countries most affected by this outbreak are the United States with 214,807 cases, 4,820 deaths, and 5,507 recoveries. Italy with 110,574 cases, 13,155 deaths, and 16,847 recoveries. Spain with 104,118 cases, 9,387 deaths, and 22,647 recoveries.
Okay, that's the news from our artificial intelligence person. They're giving us the thank you, Alexa. They're giving us the breakdown, but notice it's 934 worldwide. See, and a couple by the end of this month, approximately, that'll be the U.S. statistics. What we're listening to, now I don't know if we're gonna hit 46,000 people dying, but that's quite possible. By the end of the month. In other words, in the 40,000, 900,000 range. Now the real question is, will you still go to the beach in Australia, mate? When those grim statistics and the grim reaper. I was thinking about the fashion person. They said, no, this is what you're going to wear to the funeral. I mean, come on. Is that going to be the latest fashion? You'll have your COVID-19 thing, and they're going to have, this is my funeral dress. I mean, this is not good. So do you, you have it working. Okay, let's go take a look at it.
Let's take a look. This is the math from our scientist.
Just one person is likely to infect between 12 and 18 people. That number is called a disease's basic reproduction number, or RNA. Scientists use it to describe how contagious a disease is.
Zika, it has an R naught of up to 6.6, super contagious. But the seasonal flu, just a little over 1.
And COVID-19,
the disease caused by the coronavirus,
just about 2. That difference between the flu and COVID-19 doesn't seem so big, especially when you look at them next to these really contagious diseases. Plus, a lot of the symptoms of the flu and COVID-19 are really similar. A fever, cough,
they can even both lead to pneumonia, which is ultimately how they can both be fatal. So thinking of COVID-19 and the flu as similar is a common and frankly understandable comparison to want to make.
This is like the flu. It's a lot like the flu.
I like to believe that it's going to end up more like the flu virus.
But wait, let's go back to those R naught numbers again. If the flu has an R naught of 1.3, that means each person gets either 1 or 2 people sick. After 10 rounds, that's 56 total people. And if we run the model with COVID-19's R naught at 2, if one person with it gets 2 people sick, you get 2 people sick. After 10 rounds, that's more than 2,000 people. This does not happen with the flu because COVID-19 is very different. And understanding how is crucial to understanding how dangerous it really is and why we have to take it so seriously.
When we start to look for that comparison, we almost calm ourselves down. But unfortunately, that's not quite the right reaction.
Every year, the seasonal flu kills as many as 60,000 Americans. As of late March, COVID-19 has killed about 34,000 across the whole world. But scientists expect that number to go up, way up.
Tens of thousands of people a year die of the flu. We haven't had this for a year yet. We only had this for a few months. The trouble is coming, and we can predict it. We can see what's coming, at least to a certain extent.
The first really big difference between COVID-19 and the flu is how long it takes you to feel sick. From the moment you're infected with COVID-19, it usually takes 5 days before you start to feel symptoms. But it can take as long as 12 or even 14 days. This is the incubation period, the time between when you catch it and when you first realize you're sick. And scientists think you can be contagious during most of this period. The flu, by comparison, has an average incubation period of just 2 days. You get sick, and pretty soon you feel sick, and you know you're contagious. This is what we're used to. But COVID-19 flips that around. You can be contagious spreading it around for several days, up to 2 weeks, before it even occurs to you that you're sick. And that leads to the next big difference.
No human immune system has seen this virus before. Nobody has a natural immunity.
In flu season, there's always a number of people in the population who are already immune to the flu. That can be because they got their flu shot, or maybe they've already had that flu strain. And that limits the spread of the virus. When one person is contagious with the flu, they can only spread it to people who aren't immune, who can only spread it to other people who aren't immune. That's why scientists and doctors urge us to get our flu shot every year. If enough people have immunity, they can kind of shield the virus from reaching others. The more immunized people, the more they can protect those that are susceptible to the virus. But COVID-19 is brand new. None of us have had it before, and there's no vaccine, which means nearly everyone on the planet is susceptible. So when a contagious person who may not even know they're infected comes into contact with others, it can spread like wildfire. And then you see how much more dangerous COVID-19 can be. Only 2% of people with the flu need to be hospitalized, but 20 to even 30% of people who test positive for COVID-19. And we're still learning about COVID-19, but scientists think it's somewhere between 1 and 3%. But the flu's rate is even lower, 0.1%. And that's a disease that can kill 60,000 people in the U.S. alone. That's what Dr. Anthony Fauci, the U.S.'s leading infectious disease expert, tried to clear up to Congress.
People always say, well, the flu, the flu does this, the flu does that. The flu has a mortality of 0.1%. This has a mortality of 10 times that. This is a really serious problem that we have to take seriously.
And he's talking about the average across all age groups.
For older people or people with compromised immune systems, it can be way higher.
And that's especially scary when you remember all the other things that are different about COVID-19. The infectiousness, how hard it is to know you have it, how susceptible we all are to it. Estimates vary, but some scientists warn that between 20 and 60% of the world's population could become infected with the virus. Because COVID-19 has no cure and no vaccine. The only defense we have against it is social. We can take ourselves out of the chain. Not with immunity, but with social distancing. Just physically not being around anyone and staying home as much as possible. But that only works if each of us takes it seriously. which is why comparing it to the flu, while understandable, is not helpful.
It's natural to want to find a comparison, to want to make this seem small. When we use the flu as the backdrop, it almost numbs us, or it can numb us and make us maybe even feel better about the current situation, because the current situation is bad. So now is not the time to be numb. We need to be vigilant and use our vigilance for useful actions.
Wow.
Yeah, turn off the video.
I'm trying to.
Okay.
Sometimes it's a little harder to do.
Yeah, but
The internet running
yeah,
slow, it's hard to control.
Yeah, see that's not.
But that's interactive.
Yeah, that's pretty eye awakening. And see, I think that
One person.
I know.
One person.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is the numbers. I mean, where one infects 30, the other one infects 2,000 people. That's
well, because they don't know they have it when they're contagious.
Well,
so
it's a multiplier effect.
31, she had no idea, and she was a social butterfly.
Yeah.
Right? She knew everybody.
Right.
So, and then those people, when they're contagious by her, they spread it. So,
well, it's like this: one person affecting one. It takes longer to infect the demographic. If one person infects two, and then the two person gets to infect two, and then those get to infect two, then what happens? It expands out. And so things like they said, that one person infects 2,000 people as opposed to like 50 or 60 people. And the mortality rate, like you said, the numbers all are bad. Mortality rate is...
we do that on a 24-day basis. And the reason why 24 is because you don't know you're sick for 14 days.
Right.
Then you take the test, and it takes 10 days to get the test.
Well, the thing is, see, the math. You can do the math and you can do the prediction. Like I said, by next week we're going to go over 250,000 in the U.S.
I think we're going to be
a week ago. Well, now if you do the math, we're going to have over 1 million in mid-May, easily over 1 million, and we're going to be looking at 40 to 50,000 people passing away here in the United States, not 4,000.
No, I think we're looking at 100,000.
Well, that's what he's saying on the long-term basis. I'm just going to give up the May. You can predict more accurately in a shorter demographic time. So
they're dispatching 100,000 body bags.
Yeah, but he didn't say by when.
As an NBC News Now special report, coronavirus pandemic. Your questions.
Where's that coming from?
I have no idea.
Okay. All right. So, no, but you're looking at, they're already dispatching 100,000 body bags out of the Pentagon. The ventilators were supposed to be dispatched a week ago from the stockpile. I heard that there was some misinterpretation about those. So they still haven't been dispatched. So there's all kinds of things that need to happen to prevent this catastrophe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're reacting fast enough.
Yeah, but body bags are not a solution. Okay, I mean that's not. If you're looking for solutions,
thank you.
Okay, body bags and ventilators are not solutions. Ventilators are
a treatment, and they are helping people. They're
the Band-Aid treatment on the gaping wound. Okay, what you need is a very serious biomedical treatment, which, like I said, is outlined in this article. Okay, that I sent everybody. And you also need to have a vaccine. As a matter of fact, Fauci said without the vaccine, this thing's just going to continue to be around. And what's this breaking news? Oh, there it is, 47. Let's go take a look at labs. I had 41, so I guess it's increased. Are we going to listen to this?
No. This is the testing lab the government allowed to the private companies in India. So now they can go and test it. But I'm trying to show you how the ventilator works with multiple mouths. So here we go.
Okay.
And this is a story that gives you hope. The Defense Research and Development Organization and the Naval Dockyard in two separate instances. So the DRDO first. The DRDO has prepared a ventilator that can be used for multiple patients between 5 to 8 patients can be put on one ventilator should there be a need. And this machine has undergone successful tests at 2 hospitals in the national capital. What we're now being told is that a public sector undertaking, the Bharat Electronics Limited, BEL, is to manufacture 5,000 ventilators, and these 5,000 ventilators will be ready by end of April. And these are machines where one ventilator machine can be used to provide oxygen to 5 to 8 different people. The Indian Navy is now telling us, and that's what sources are telling India today, that the Naval Dockyard Limited has also prepared a ventilator machine where multiple people can be given oxygen should they require from one ventilator machine. I quickly want to cut across to India today's Manjeet Singh Negi joining us for more on the story. Manjeet, tell us more about this machine that the DRDO has prepared. Has it been successfully tested and fit for patients?
Well, Gaurav, today DRDO successfully tested multi-patient ventilator for tracking COVID-19 challenges. DRDO Chairman Dr. Satish Reddy said that in case of shortage of ventilator, these ventilators can be used for the multiple patient. And many private industries and also the public sector industry like Bharat Electronics would be making 5,000 these multi-patient ventilators in next couple of weeks. And these ventilator has been tested tested today in the Apollo Hospital, Hyderabad, and it is working now. And the medical experts have been given more suggestion if required.
Okay, Manjeet, keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more. The DRDO will also join us on India First on India Today. We'll get you much more on the story tomorrow and in
That's
the day.
good news. Right? That's very good news.
They don't want to reveal how the ventilator works because they don't want to. I don't know. I don't know why they want to showcase the demo. But the news is that we have ventilators. One ventilator can be used maximum for 5. That's what they are claiming. And but as Dr. Tula said that the people should be of the same symptoms because the ventilator machine have that timer or a control.
Travel is being limited.
People with same symptoms, they will do it.
The next few weeks will bring. And so it's our goal throughout this next hour.
Oh, I have some very interesting news now that you're doing this. This comes from the National Enquirer. Inquiring minds want to know. This is one of the tabloids we have. Coronavirus cures finally found. Okay, this is fake news, obviously. And then it goes on further. It goes, worldwide deaths, 3,200. American deaths, 11 and counting. Obviously, old news. Not only that, in other words, they really kind of like missed the mark on this. So I think we're a lot more accurate. We're looking over 1 million probably in May here in the United States, and probably around 40,000 people passing away by mid-May, and that would probably be a very, very realistic number. Just like I said several weeks ago, we're going to go over to 250,000 next week. You know, it just looks that particular way. I like how you're bringing these clips, you know, because those are actually pretty good clips on that. Ankit, were those ones that you were bringing in?
Yeah.
Okay. Are we able to do that too? I don't know about the technology. Can I actually bring in clips like that?
So I have to give you some sessions. Kim and me will teach you.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. So you can actually find some good clips on this because that was that was pretty good. But if you notice, even that clip, they were going 170,000. The numbers have skyrocketed. You know, now it's like 900,000. So by the time you get a clip out, it's old news. You know, the numbers go up tremendously, and I think here's what we're going to see in the U.S. and we're waiting for those numbers to come out. And Sasha, since he's playing the market right now, the market was up. Okay, but let me tell you, Sasha. Here's the realities of what's going to happen. The unemployment numbers here are going to go off the charts, okay, because no one's working and they're filing like crazy. Unfortunately, we always get the data late. And somebody said we're looking at 37 to 47 million people unemployed, with the unemployment rate skyrocketing into 30 percentile. 30% unemployment in the United States. I believe that is the more accurate figure we're going to look at in the next month economically. Well, how does the stock market going to react to 30% unemployment as the new normal? Not too good. What do you say, Mr. Sasha?
I hope we both agree that the markets are highly manipulated.
Yes.
If that's the case, then we have to look at the real thing, what can withstand all this bunch of very negative, fundamentally negative news, and there's no end to it. In my opinion, the only substance there left is gold. And I'm looking at
gold. He's running to gold.
I'm looking at stock, for example, Barrick, which is symbol gold, G-O-L-D, if somebody doesn't know it already. And it seems to me that actually, when all these markets going down big time, the gold also went down. It seems to me, again, it's kind of a manipulation because they wanted to create a situation where there is no place to hide. So if somebody is smart enough who sold some major stocks and thought that he will be hiding in gold, then gold also went down. However, that first wave is over now, and we are coming to more or less realistic estimation of perspectives of the company. And it seems to me that the gold, especially with all this printing press going 24 hours a day and trillions of dollars are being printed almost daily, I think that gold will be the probably one of very few substances, maybe together with platinum, maybe some other metals, that will definitely hold its value. If you think about it, just 3 years ago, the total debt of the United States was, I think, $17 trillion. So it's already approaching 25. And by the time that all things will be done, it will be probably around $30 to $35 trillion. What do you think will happen to gold? Like
gold? Yeah. I always had a problem with gold because I used to invest in precious metal funds. My problem was I can't eat gold, and that's always been my problem. Now, in India, they should be the richest country in the world because they got plenty of gold over there, But the thing is, economic activity is more than a pile of gold. I would be looking at the biotech stocks. The biotech stocks have to go up. There's just no question. And also, I believe the market doesn't ever reflect anything accurately because a lot of it's computerized trading based on data they receive today, looking for short-term gains. Let's go look at it. It's like Alexa. Alexa's great. I mean, I like Alexa. Alexa and I are good friends. But unfortunately, Alexa doesn't project into the future very well. Stay there, Alexa. Okay. And so the thing is, if the people that make the computerized trading that does the market only looks at today's data, they don't look at data a month from now. They don't react to, well, the coronavirus a month from now is going to have 1 million people in the United States with 46,000 deaths and 32 million people unemployment. Now let's put it this way: if you went to your computer program today and you plugged in 30 million unemployed in the United States, 46,000 deaths, million people infected and growing, what's going to be
exhausting? I think maybe about 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Was that Fosse? How did he make it on our TV show?
I pulled him up for a minute and he started. I was holding him and he got started. So
okay. All right. Well, you can bring him on.
No. I wanted to hear you.
Well, the thing is, I'm just saying that as we're sitting here, and we're going to be sitting here for at least a month, as we well know, that's going to be the future in May. In other words, 30 days from now, we're going to be looking at 30 million people unemployed, 1 million people infected, 40 to 50,000 people passed away, and that's the United States alone. I guess if you look at the worldwide figures, it'll probably be double that.
Tony, you just got to.
Sorry, he keeps coming on.
He keeps interrupting me. Please tell him to be quiet.
The problem is that apparently Fosse's life has been threatened. I don't know. Have you read that news? I'm trying to get down to the bottom of it, but they've had to deputize Homeland Security marshals
Right.
to protect him because his life is being threatened right now.
Why? He didn't cause this. He had nothing to do with it. He's just
He didn't
reporting.
cause it, and he tried to get the warning out earlier, and his message was not coming out.
Okay.
And people are blaming him.
Yeah.
Not our leaders. They're blaming him.
Yeah. Blame the messenger, not the message. Okay.
Right now, we have to stop the excuses and blame, and we have to find the solution. Now is not time for excuses and blame.
I think what we need to do is every Friday go over solutions so that people have a good weekend. And that's the reason I brought in the 19 companies working on the vaccines and treatments. And I'll try to pull better data for tomorrow.
And Nick, if you can somehow or another, if it's got a thing that we could copy paste,
I'll find it.
We'll upload it on our Facebook.
Yeah,
and
right.
we'll upload it on our social media sites. You have access to upload as well.
Yeah,
and
I just got to research it.
Positive. We'll call this hashtag Power Positive Thinking.
Right.
The COVID-19 task actions. This is what's happening. But we need to stop the blame and stop the excuses. No more excuses.
Look for solutions.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, and we're going to need some novel solutions on a going forward basis. I mean that's kind of like the name of the game. So.
And if you watch 93 Days, one of the most impactful statements that the doctor makes is, "Don't be in a rush in managing this." You know, when you're faced with a disease or a virus of this capacity, take your time once you're faced with it. So when he's suiting up people and he's tying them down and taping their gloves on them so nothing can pass through, he tells each one of them, move slow, move accurate, don't be in a rush or a hurry, because you can contaminate yourself even worse and everyone else even worse. And we see that when people panic. Just like in life-saving, when I studied life-saving for swimming, right? And we had to swim out to a person drowning who's panicking. You're not to approach them, you turn them around, you go underwater, you approach them to let them know you have them. You go underwater, you lift them out of the water. But if you grab them up front, they're going to choke you, they're going to drag you down with them. So you have to approach it carefully and with patience. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No problem. I'm going to take a break for a little while, so I'll rejoin later. But I'm going to be on break for a little while.
Before we'll take a leave. I'll show you what the Mayo Clinic expert will have to say about coronavirus.
Okay.
What does what?
So I have an expert video from Mayo Clinic.
Okay, put them on.
And then we want to get Willie started with, and I'm going to.
Appropriately, what they're trying to do is frame what they think is likely to happen, so that people can be better prepared, emotionally, physically, etc., by knowing what the kind of the worst case modeling shows. I don't see us getting into that 200,000 range. I may be surprised, but looking at the transmission dynamics, what the rates of serious illness and death has been, I would not predict that from where we are this many weeks into it. So I think it could get up toward the 100,000, but I'm not thinking that it's going to get that much higher.
So that was the doctor from the Mayo Clinic, and he also was not sure about the numbers, and that's what he was to share. So Willie, what's going on in Australia? Did you get a chance to look out the curve line and the drop line? What's the peak for you, and when it's coming in which peak?
No, what I've done is just look at the stats, the health department stats.
Okay.
That's that, and the one Nick said, the coronavirus scientist, and I'm just looked at that and all the different companies. It's going really bad here because people are not taking this seriously. I've finished the project that I was working on, and they were really haphazard about it. They said, okay, we've got a coronavirus update. Okay, please sign so that they're passing. So the contact. I don't know, they're not serious about it, or their attitude was very haphazard. They didn't take it seriously. So yeah, that was really sad.
So we have the numbers right now available.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Willie, you say something that's very passionate and with such terms of endearment that people have not taken this seriously. And it's very hard for people to take things seriously when you've got your leaders telling you it's nothing to worry about. It's just like the flu. And just like the video we watch of the scientists, people weren't taking it serious because you were comparing it to the flu. Yep. Oh, okay, we're comparing it to the flu. Nobody shared with anyone what was really happening inside the human body. Ankit shares with us a CT scan of the lungs, what's happening inside the lungs. I think if our leaders shared that with us early on, we could have made choices for ourselves how we wanted to deal with this. But the problem is the leaders were scared of their own shadow. They didn't want the world to hear from them that they needed to stay home and not make money so that none of us get infected. That was a tough decision for them to make, because then we'll look at them as idiots down the road. Oh, nothing happened. Nobody died. Well, that was a good thing. Yay, nobody died because we took action. but they would get blamed then for nothing really happening, and all these people lost their income. So there was not a good sound information being sent out because people were afraid to look stupid. And at the end of the day, the risk was better for them to sit there and just go ahead and let it happen and then start taking these extreme measures.
Just no integrity.
No integrity on the human.
Yes. If you had integrity, you just step up automatically. It didn't matter.
It was about, to me, it's like popularity, right? Yep. You're not going to be a very popular man if you tell everybody to stay home for 21 days so we can get control of this, and you're not going to make money for 21 days. And then 21 days is over and nothing happened. As the president, you would have seen that you saved a lot of people, millions of people, but all those millions of people are going to look at you and go, nothing happened. What was the big deal? So sometimes people have to see things happening in order to appreciate the decisions that the leader has to make. Unfortunately, that's called collateral damage, casualty of war.
Absolutely.
And so that was what was happening at the top layers. Fauci was not doing that. Fauci was trying to go around their backs and tell everybody. If you go back and look in February, and I think I even played one of his videos where he was interviewing with anyone in media, especially social media. He was trying to get the word out there, but nobody was listening to him except us, right? But other countries may have taken him very serious. Singapore, Australia. I think this was the question, the doctors that keep coming on board, and I'm missing them. I'm missing my doctors that go and put that. I'm missing our doctors. And I am sad that they're not here right now. But they were asking the questions, why is it if the WHO was sending out these notices, why wasn't everyone taking the same steps to protect their people? So apparently the WHO was sending out information and data to people, like Willie keeps asking for data, because data does tell us the story, like Nick tells us. Data tells us the story. If they were all receiving the same notice from WHO and CDC, why weren't we all reacting the same? Singapore took extreme measures, and Hong Kong, because they lived right next door to the place it happened. They had to. They had no other choice. They saw it in their face what was happening. And so they took those extreme, closed the doors. but other countries had to make tough decisions based on a balance of their convictions. How is the world going to perceive me if I take extreme measures and they see nothing happen? And we lost our paycheck for 21 days. I mean, how would you have felt about your leaders if they came to you and said, I want you to shut down for 21 days. You're not going to make money, but we're going to save the world. Nothing happens. You didn't see anything happen. And that was a blessing. They did. They were working behind the scenes, but you never saw anything. Just like Lagos, Nigeria, 19 people ended up being infected and 8 people died. That was a good thing in a dense population of 23 million people.
Wow.
Right? So, but it took extreme measures. It took sacrificing jobs and actually a few people sacrificing their lives. And they knew they were sacrificing their lives.
But Kim, do you think 21 days is good enough, or we should, we should do for 90 days?
No, and the president finally admitted it, and he has now extended it to the end of April.
Yeah.
I think it takes 90 days. If you watch the movie 93 Days, which is a documentary of a true story, it is the true story. It's very boring. But 93 days, if you add the math, do the math, it takes 14 days to even feel the symptoms.
True.
Then it takes another 10 days to receive a test result back because we don't have a rapid test yet.
Yeah.
So our infectious rate is way beyond what we can fathom. It really is.
And also to stop the transmission and to spot this community spread out, we have to do it for this much amount of time. We can't take this and do it for a small period of time. Because if we do it much, we will show that we'll block the chain.
But that's 24 days. Okay? Yeah. That's 24 days. So then you got that person sick and you got to get them to recover. So I haven't heard any consistent time of recovery. Okay. And then once they recover, they got to get back to the world. So if anything, I see that as a 90-day process. If you watch the Ebola virus, that is a 90-day process of them containing it but they caught it early. So, but it's 90 days. My doctors always told me it's a full season to heal anything. If you break your arm, it's 90 days of getting out of the cast and recovering. It's 90 days, people. It's going to be 90 plus because we didn't take the extreme precaution. We still don't know how many people are infected. This is the part of the show Nick hates. But it's the truth, the facts. Facts, not fear. Fact is, we don't know how many of you are infected. All right? That's what our leaders need to be telling us. We don't know how many are infected. Stay home. Let us find out. Stay home and let us get us under control. We'll eventually get the test kits to you, but we have no idea. So instead of staying home, really, just like your country, our people pack up in their cars from New York. New York to Miami is a very long drive. They're on one highway. How many people do you think we infected? That's a long road. Go look at it. From New York to Florida. That is from one end of the United States to the other. To me, that's like from driving from Canada to the bottom of Florida, right? How long is that road? People were doing this because the last time they heard the news was warmer weather is not affected by this. Yeah. So they're thinking, well, my home in Florida is going to be safer for me. There's going to be more beds for me because there are no more beds in New York. There are no more hospital beds in New York. There are no more ventilators in New York. They cannot treat any more people. Doctors are sick too. So, but going to Florida is not any better because as you heard from Nick, majority of the people in Florida are older people who are retired. And so all you're going to do is cause their infectious rates to go up and their mortality rate, right? We've just messed with the mortality rate.
And also think, Kim, when people are growing in massively to Florida, I think the utility, the groceries, everything they need to share. Because that also have to be shared by people around the Miami area. And moreover, I'm not sure how many hospitals or beds they have in Miami, but I think they would have to work on that thing as of now because there will be spread. I don't know how
No,
much there will be spread basically.
and then the thing is we need to get back to some spiritual talks as well on our show. I think that that's something that people look forward to. Is this talking about spiritually? What are we doing? What are we doing to look this positive? What can I do at home? I'm bored. You know,
Yeah.
people are bored in 1 minute. I'm bored.
Yeah.
They have a theory in TV, which we try to do here, but in TV they have to make everything move in 70 seconds. Every 70 seconds, that camera has to move. Do you know how much that costs to make a camera move that much? We, generally on a set, a TV show set or a movie set, you have 3 to 5 cameras, right? And to make, so that's man hours right there. Then the equipment itself is millions of dollars worth of equipment. Then you got to tie together the post equipment, the audio equipment. But in the TV world, we're told in order to captivate the audience and maintain their attention, you have to move every 70 seconds. That's the mindset that our country has come to. And maybe nature is telling us to reset, reboot, right? I hear this with every scientist. Actually, if you play some of these scientist videos right now, you're going to hear everyone say, we need to reset, we need to reboot. This is Mother Nature taking back some of her nature. Cleaning, we're erasing the carbon footprint, just like the ocean erases the sand, right? We're all talking about the air is cleaner in some places. I see my friend posting that he can actually see the sky in LA now. That's something that they haven't seen. The smog is gone. He's taken some really good photos. He's one of the best photographers in the world. And he's a good friend of mine, and he's taking photos of how clear the sky is and the empty the highways are, right? India, you're talking about the same thing, but then we talk financially. How are we going to financially protect ourselves? India is going to protect their people. They have mountains of gold that they'll be able to share. Australia has been taking care of their people for several weeks now. Canada has done this, but guys, stop looking at the U.S. for answers right now. We will survive, but we will have probably the highest casualty and collateral damage than any other country in the world. And this has been shared to me by many leaders. I have many leaders who will not get on the TV right now and talk from the U.S. They're not going to say a word. They're too scared to. And they that's pretty much they politely say, I can't speak on this right now. So this is why we're going to change the show to talk about the things we can do, the businesses we can start. We are still going to highlight the damage and let people be able to track how bad it is so they remember to stay home. We're going to talk about those kind of things. We're going to mention the rates, where it's going, but we're also going to broaden this to talk about what you can be doing at home. I mean, I get so many people, I'm so bored. I want to play games. Let's play games. Okay. But I can only do that so much because I'm doing this. And people think this is just talking, and it's not. Because I believe in facts, right? And I have to be very careful, just like Nick. We have to be very careful. All of us have to be very careful about what we mention. So we read from the facts. We read from CDC. We read from our world media or from our leaders. But facts is what's going to save us. We can't speculate. We have to be very, very careful. I believe in some speculation because that's how you get out of the box and start building. But all right, I'm done talking. I want somebody else to share some inspiration.
So I'll share one more video with our audience about the impacts of the coronavirus in your body, because we need to know that what happens. I mean, and that is what the alarming is, and people will stay at home because that's what we want. So this is what it happens inside your body. It goes inside and it sticks to your body and create a patch kind of a situation in your lungs. So, I mean, we can request from on IBM TV that stay at home, use the phone, stay at home, use the phone, and keep yourself healthy and uh, spend good quality time with your family because I think you won't get this time back. And try to be positive and do whatever the best you can do to this green world because people always think when they grow up in the age or when they have success, they say that we want to give back something to the society. So this is the time when you can give back to the society, think about our world and be united because we are still not united. As we always say that we have to be united, then only we can fight with such uh,
And
pandemic viruses.
we
Because
need to
today's corona.
unite. You're right. We
Yes.
need to unite the scientists too. We need to get the scientists united. If somebody's developing ventilators in India and they can
Yeah.
develop more and ship them to Australia where they need them or Canada, we need to make those dots connect because they won't do it on their own. So, I mean, ANKIT knows people who are willing and need test kits. So we're trying to connect them with Juan. If you have questions out there, feel free to ask us. We'll try to help. It doesn't mean we will make it happen or fix your problem, but we will try. And we will try to connect some dots for people. We've got some business people that are going to be coming on the show tomorrow. I'm very excited to have them. John Harmon's going to rejoin us from New Jersey. So I'm going to bring on Scarlett if she'll join us because she is a science brain. She's well connected in the science industry. But these are the people we need to start listening to. They've been telling us to stay home since January. I actually started hearing about all of this in January. And I don't know when you guys first heard about it, but not just from Wuhan, like long distant news. I kept hearing people every once in a while, we got to shut down, we got to do something. But the right people weren't hearing that message, I guess. And so I think as a community, it's our duty as professionals to get the message out from our homeland to others so that we can learn from each other what each other are doing. Sasha, do you have any more letters from people?
Yeah, I had one letter from the Russian, very famous writer who lives now in London, England. A lot of famous Russians are not living in Russia these days, as it always used to be the case. And he and his wife both got affected. I will find this letter and I can read it. It's quite interesting. His wife was almost unscathed. It was very light form of coronavirus. Now he had to struggle somewhat. I think he's recovering, but not as quickly. Now something else. Speaking about ventilators, I just heard the news that Canada is self-sufficient in production of the ventilators. Actually, it's all done here in Ontario, and they're ready to supply not only Ontario but any other province who would need these ventilators. I don't know. In my opinion, it's fairly simple, unsophisticated piece of machinery. I don't understand why it's such a big issue for the United States to produce tens of millions of ventilators. I'm not a technical person, but oh, okay, you got it. Now, because it's all related to the politics, I'd like to refer to a site. I really like that site. It calls oddschecker.com. And actually, on different sites, like one I'm using for sport betting is Bet365. They are accepting bets on all kinds of things, including U.S. presidential election. And the latest numbers from their predictions as of now, they have 50% of Donald Trump winning the election, of 42.3% Joe Biden. Actually, even just a month ago, Donald Trump had almost 60%, and Biden had somewhat, probably 10%. So now it's almost equal. And believe it or not, Andrew Cuomo, governor of New York, he started to get some odds. Apparently, he has about 4% to win an election. I don't know how.
What do you know, Sasha? Do you know that Andrew Combs' brother is COVID positive, and he was, I think, one of the news leaders on CNN.
Yeah, yeah. So this is quite an expected result. And Odds Checker, it's quite reliable site, and a lot of people, before they're betting on the results of the election, they're definitely using the Odds Checker site to see the odds and to see the, not even odds as of there today, but to see how it all moves in the last several weeks or even months, just to see which way, what is the tendency of this odds moving one way or another. So that's kind of interesting stuff that I've noticed. Now, you were talking before the all kind of computer or internet attacks on different sites. I'm expecting the next day or two attacks on Toronto police because of this $1,000 tickets. So people, to avoid paying these tickets, they may think about something. Obviously, it's a joke.
No, I get it. I know.
You know what happened?
Will,
you know what happened?
I always hate it when Willie has to go. So
yeah.
We got a quiet day. What happened to our doctors? Do they not like us anymore?
No, they like it. I mean, they have a lot of other things to do, I think.
I agree. I agree.
I didn't get any confirmation, so that is what. But
well,
what I
that they show up.
So what happened is that a lot of Indians, I mean, in different parts of the world, in India, sorry, so they're attacking doctors, because what happened is that doctors are doing rapid testing in different regions. Whenever they get reports that something is happening in this particular town or particular city, so they're going with the team and do the testing. But people are attacking and making them run away from that place because they don't want to get tested. And why they don't get tested? Because if they get positive, then they will be quarantined for 14 days at some other place, and then that process will further go for the medication and all. So people are some of the people, or maybe very small amount of population in India, are not ready to understand that testing is very useful. If you don't do the testing, it will spread across the community, and that is not a good sign. But still, people are not ready to listen, and they are attacking doctors in this scenario. So that was very, shameful and very disheartened to know that what's going on, because doctors are the real heroes and they are the front runners to take this, fight forward. And we are just helping them with different ways what we can do. But people are still not able to understand. They think that we are creating some kind of hype or a humor that it will kill people and it will spread across things, because they are comparing the data from India to US, and they are seeing that it's not happening in India what's happening in US or China. But that is a story which is a very sad story, but that's what's going on in India right now. And I would like to also share one of the survivor story from Seattle, United States, that what happened and how she fight with the coronavirus.
Actually, before I forgot, one more thing about ventilators. We are talking about ventilators almost all the time. I have just one quick question. Nick was telling us that basically all ventilators do allow people to die more comfortably. So my question is there any person alive after taking ventilators treatment?
Yeah. A lot of people,
So not everybody is dying after ventilators.
No. So ventilators is basically, it's a support system which will help you run your organ or different organs. So you
Absolutely.
need to know which organ you are using for ventilation.
Yeah.
And at what level you are using. But if you have strength, if you have immunity inside, you will fight it out, and that's what's happening. But in most of the cases, people who are using ventilators, they don't want to try to use their organs, and they are depending on the machine, and that's why they die. That's what I can say as a layman. But I think once we have Dr. Sadhu and Dr. Tulla, they will be able to explain you in much better way. But the bottom line is, people come out from ventilation as well.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Ankit, because when I was studying that Canada is self-sufficient in ventilators, and then I started to think to myself, what a dubious extinction to be the sufficient country to produce an equipment after using which the patients are dying. So at least some of them are not dying and some of them are still alive.
And also when you talk about companies or countries who are who are self-sufficient to create ventilators, but as Kim said, it requires a lot of money, and it requires a lot of guts to work or maybe create a kind of a budget for medical rather than your defense thing, because countries are still doing a lot of funding for the defense equipments and not for the medical thing. And I was going through the complete chart about how many or how much each country is spending on their medical budget as compared to the defense budget. So it's a very nominal size if you compare the defense budget. So we are ready to fight it out, but we are not ready to, because after every fight, after every problem, you need to go to the medical diagnosis. And we don't have medically equipped around the world. I'm not talking about a particular country, but generally the ratio of ventilators with the population is maximum is around 4%. Maximum 4% ventilators are available in one country as compared to the population. Which is a very lower number according to me, but I think doctors would share more bright news about it. So let's see, what we have, and I'll play this survivor story.
Hello, from Seattle, Washington. I believe that I contracted the coronavirus from a house party. We had a great time. We were socializing and chatting, listening to music. 3 days later, I woke up in the morning and I felt ill. I was a little bit tired, but I thought that perhaps I had just overdone it. The previous weekend I'd been out. So I went to the office like usual. But in the midday, I started feeling worse. I had a bad headache. I had body aches. I felt tired. So I also felt a little feverish. So I did go home. I worked from home, and that evening I took a nap in the early evening. When I woke up, my temperature was 101 degrees Fahrenheit. And then by the time I went to go to bed, my temperature was 103 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's around 39.4 degrees Celsius. So it was quite high. At that point, I got ready for bed. I took some over-the-counter medicine. I took some acetaminophen, which in the United States is branded as Tylenol. And then I went to bed. The next morning, thankfully, my fever had come down by 2 degrees to 101 degrees Fahrenheit. And at that point, I had all of those symptoms that I mentioned, like the fatigue, the body aches, the headache, and the fever. But I didn't have any cough. And I didn't have any respiratory symptoms. I didn't have tightness in my chest or shortness of breath. So I didn't think that I had the coronavirus. I decided to just stay home. I figured that I could recover on my own. I thought it was a flu, honestly. Several of my friends who were at the party, 2 days later, I noticed that they were commenting on a Facebook post of another woman who was at the party, and she said that she was sick. She had fallen sick on a Tuesday, the same day I had fallen sick, and several people who were at the party commented and said that they were sick too, and we all had the similar symptoms. There were about 12 to 15 people who fell sick at the same time after the party, and there were a total of 30 to 40 people at the party. So None of us really initially thought it was coronavirus, but then several of my friends who fell sick went to their doctors. Their doctors thought that they just had the flu. They didn't think about the coronavirus. They weren't tested for the coronavirus at the doctor's office. They tested negative for flu and were sent home and told to recover at home. It wasn't until a few days after that that one of my friends on this Facebook post brought up a research study that was happening in the Seattle area called the Seattle Flu Study. So we volunteered and filled out some questions on the internet, got qualified. We were sent an at-home nasal swab test kit. I did a nasal swab at home. I sent it in the mail back to the researchers, and then about a week later, after I submitted the sample, I got a phone call on Saturday, March 7th, saying that I had tested positive for COVID-19. I did not go to the hospital. I was not hospitalized. I did not take any prescription medications. I basically stayed at home. I drank a lot of water. I took vitamins. I took over-the-counter medicine. I also used some nasal sprays that also are nasal decongestants. The other thing I used as well was more of a preventative measure, but I used a neti pot. So my first message is please stay calm and don't panic. You know, this is a pandemic. It's spread to all continents except for Antarctica at this point. A lot of people are contracting this virus. Some people are dying. But I believe the majority of people will be in a similar situation like myself. If you are healthy, if you are younger, even if you are older and relatively healthy, if you don't have any underlying health conditions, and if once you fall sick, you take care of yourself, you take over-the-counter medications, you get rest, you drink a lot of water, you take vitamins, you know, I believe that you will recover. Many people are getting this virus and they are asymptomatic, or they have very mild symptoms, or, you know, they think that it's a nasty cold or the flu like myself. But that doesn't mean that we need to brush this issue off. It is a very serious issue. And so that's why, you know, we need to practice self-isolation, social distancing. If you have any of these symptoms, if you feel you're sick, whether or not you tested positive for the coronavirus, I would urge you to see if you can negotiate with your employer to stay home, take time off, or to work remotely. You know, cancel all of your, you know, major social engagements or major appointments to see other people. You know, that's the way that we can help contain the spread so that we don't overwhelm our hospitals and healthcare systems with people who are most vulnerable and susceptible to life-threatening symptoms from this disease. So people are stocking up on things, you know, canned goods, meat, milk, bread, you know, because people don't really know if we're going to be able to, you know, leave our houses at some point. One of the funnier things that people are stocking up on is toilet paper. But I just wanted to let everyone know listening that, you know, I didn't buy any toilet paper when I was sick. I didn't need any extra toilet paper. So you don't necessarily need to panic and go out and, you know, buy like a whole trunk full of toilet paper for yourself.
Wow. What's your opinion of that, Sasha?
Well, I think it's a very good testimony, exactly what's happened to this person, and your view of how to be cautious, how to be careful, and obey everything. I agree with everything what I've heard so far.
I think it's a very positive story, and I think we should follow whatever she's saying, because I think she has been survived the way, and she fought it like a warrior. That's what she was trying to say, that be calm and you will fight it out, because it could happen because you are meeting a lot of people on regular basis and you don't know whom you met a couple of weeks back, because this disease is not instant. It will take time to shape up in your body. So I think the best way is to stay calm, be attentive, keep checking your feelings, keep checking your heart feelings that everything is fine, and also try to take care of others and be healthy, and try to avoid the going out and do anything outside, and try to avoid the physical distancing at home as well, and keep talking to each other and stay happy and be positive. That is what we have to share with our viewers as of now. Kim, you want to say something?
So I feel like her message is very mixed.
Yeah.
I feel like that if people watch too much of that, they're not going to take this serious because she plays it down a little bit.
Yeah.
I also think that no offense to her, but I think she's the kind of person, hey, we're going to go to a party anyway, regardless of what's happening out there. I would like to understand if she said that she tested positive. Is that what she said? She tested positive for COVID-19?
Yeah, that's what he said, yeah.
At what point did she test positive? Because it sounded like she was already kind of over it. So I would and the symptoms happened way soon. Like she said, she went to the party, got sick the next day. So it could have been something she contracted way before that party. You know? So, if you're at a party with a group of friends, odds are you were at another party with a group of friends, at another party with the same group of people, or at an event with the same group of people, or work. So I don't think it was contained at that party, given the facts that we have. So I think her story is very up, right? Don't be afraid. Be calm. It was very similar to Dr. Yu, where he said use the neti pot. Treat it very much, respectfully, like you're sick. Drink lots of fluids. Take the right medications. But I think it's not sending out the right message because a lot of people are going to say, "Hey, I can get over this," and I don't think a lot of people are going to be able to get over it that easy. I don't know what kind of coronavirus she tested positive for, or where that test was, but I think it was, I think there's a lot to be said there. Sasha, what is your opinion of this?
Kim, can I suggest something? If everything what she said would happen to her and she would be in South Korea or in Singapore, okay, what are the consequences? Obviously, she would be questioned about every person who was at that party or parties, whatever she attended, and every person would be investigated. First of all, test whether he's positive or not, and then if he's positive, he would be treated, and even if it's not, he would be definitely quarantined for, say, 2 weeks at least. So we see approach here in North America and, well, not North America, in the United States, because in Canada now there is a $1,000 fine. So that may get a lot of people very sober about all this thing, because you'll pay one time $1,000 and second time. It's not very pleasant situation for most people. So they would definitely think about that. Now, United States looks like, well, I think it's coming there too. I don't think that in New York you can actually go to the parties or so on. So probably this more serious approach is on its way, if it's not already there. That's what my thoughts on everything what I've heard.
Right, I agree. I think, but I think you're right. If it were Korea or somewhere else, I don't understand why some people are reporting the symptoms so different. I would like to understand what happened to her body. Maybe she was drinking a lot of fluids. Maybe at a party she drank a lot of alcohol and washed it out. These are things we need to know and learn, because apparently she has survived it, and they need to take a look at what did she do different at home that other people are not doing. So far, the people who have really bad cases of it, I am learning that they are actually having to sedate them, induce them in a drug coma, so they can sleep and rest through it, because it's so painful. So I would be curious to know more of her symptoms. If it was painful, did she get the stomach sickness? And if she has a high immunity system, they can test that. So I agree that we need to, but there's so many things we need to take a look at the survivors. I was reading an article that we need to be testing the blood of the survivors right now and researching if there's any antibodies that we can use from them, because usually that's what we do. So we'll see. Ankit, what do you have?
So you must be aware about the FDA approved the plasma therapy treatment for corona. So they are testing it, how it works with the patient. So I'll just play the clip so that our viewers will get to know what's happening around. Because people are trying hard to get it sorted. And that is what we are trying to.
As we heard, Evrod did not have the usual symptoms. Dr. Frank McGeorge will address the range of symptoms people can have with COVID-19. That's coming up tonight at 5. But right now, he joins us with some of the new treatments being evaluated for the treatment of COVID-19.
The COVID-19 pandemic has threatened health on a global scale. So understandably, people are desperate for new treatments. Yesterday, the FDA acknowledged that this pandemic does pose a unique challenge, and they quickly approved a new therapy for use outside of clinical trials. It's called convalescent plasma. The idea is that a blood component, plasma, collected from recovered COVID-19 patients might contain antibodies to the SARS-CoV-2 virus, which might be effective against the infection. Now, convalescent plasma has been studied against other viruses like H1N1 influenza, SARS, and MERS. And while it might be promising, it's important to note that it has not been effective in every disease studied. Now, while we would ordinarily wait for the results of large-scale clinical trials, the FDA recognizes the urgency of the current situation, and they're making this therapy available to severe COVID-19 patients through individual applications, which will be evaluated in some situations within 4 to 8 hours. Meanwhile, another drug, remdesivir, which is being studied in several large-scale clinical trials, has hit a hurdle because the drug's manufacturer has been overwhelmed by demand and cannot fill all the requests. Remdesivir was trialed as a potential therapy for Ebola, but the studies did not find any significant benefit. Now, again, I need to point out, neither of these treatments has shown any proven effect against COVID-19. And while they might be used as part of a study or a last hope treatment, there is still risk, and we cannot count on them. Now, coming up at 5, I'm going to talk about some other treatment prospects that you have probably also heard about. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Docky.
So, according to the news, people are still looking forward for new different ways to treat COVID-19. And that is people who have survived and people who have diagnosed with COVID. So both the patients are good enough for these kind of
don't rely on any one country. So
I think
that is what.
I think too, just getting back to basics and common sense. Exercise while you're at home. When we first started this show, I didn't have a lot of time because I was trying to get all the basics in, and so I've kind of put my exercising aside. But now I'm back to, getting and doing my exercises every day. That helps sweat out the impurities, build your immune system, your happiness, get in the sun. We've heard this numerous times. Vitamin D, vitamin C, fish oil. Is it Dr. Mohammed that keeps mentioning fish oil? And how important fish oil is in our body and immune system, because it helps us continue to absorb the vitamins our body needs. That's what fish oil does for our bodies. And, humans have been around a very long time. We read our history books of the foods we ate back in the day. Dr. Yu had said this, that we are hunter-gatherers. All of these things are great for us. Start eating more fresh produce. It's been going to waste at the grocery store, so if you can get it and clean it well. We heard one of the doctors say it's healthy, clean it well. We're not seeing a rush at the grocery stores anymore like we were weeks ago. Things have calmed down, so people are not rushing to the store, but I think we're going to see another rush because we're going to be told that it's going to be another 30 days. because we're not going to reach our flat line in 21 days. If you do the math, that flat line is not going to happen in 21 days. It's not going to happen in 30 days. That flat line will not exist for 60 days if you do the math. And if you look at the science video that my friend sent me about how this reproduces, and if you look at patient 31 in South Korea, which I think is a very, very good example of what to look at, if you do that math in the United States and how we are right now, we are in extreme danger right now if we don't take this serious. And I think Willie has preached this a lot as well. He's very frustrated with his own people and country that you're laughing at this. And you shouldn't be. And there are so many people who do that, and they'll go to work sick thinking, well, I'm more important than everybody else here. I'm going to come to work sick. In today's time, you don't have to. I don't understand why even our government is not doing more video from home. If you don't trust the people to do the work, then have them up on a video conference call all the time where you can watch them work. You can monitor how often they're in their system. So, people will eventually learn how to work from home more. I think this will change us. I think Google's going to find out they don't need all the landscape they have for offices, right? That their people can work more from home. So this is going to change real estate big time. Business real estate is going to adjust drastically. So financial outlook right now, it probably looks very grim for a lot of people. Those who have the money are investing in the biochemical industries to find the solution. But, as Nick said, the treatments are just Band-Aids, but actually not. If you can treat somebody to recover, now according to that, they become our plasma for a solution. Yeah. So we want the treatments right now so people do recover from this. And from that recovery process, hopefully we will find a solution. But right now we need to take what we have and be thankful for it, stay calm, hope and pray that our government and states pay attention to it. Take Nick's classes, financial classes on retirement and the stimulus class, and look what you can do for your benefit. Don't sit there and feel sorry for yourself. I also learned something from that movie, 93 Days. The people who weren't feeling sorry for themselves, that were getting out of their bed and helping other people, they were the ones who survived. The people, the doctors and nurses who became sick, the ones who just kept getting up and helping others. Because sometimes when you take the problem off of yourself and focus on helping others, you don't feel so sick. Sometimes you feel worse. I have no idea what this disease feels like. I've not heard a good testimony. I've heard a few things. It feels like glass when you breathe. I haven't heard about the sickness in the stomach. I've heard that it happens. But these are the people we need to probably start talking to, are the survivors. And also, like Nick said, we need to start posting and presenting to the people that there are people out there making the solutions. And maybe those are places you can go get a job. I've got a gentleman who's a big businessman down in Florida. I know a lot of people in Florida, but he's a big businessman. He has a lab. He's wide open. Send him the test solutions. He will start testing people in Florida right away. So he has a clean lab. This isn't one. This is somebody else. So all they need now are the duplicated test kits or whatever it is that they test. Their labs are open to do the work, but nobody's sending work to them. So that's what we have to focus on right now is the testing. Where are the labs to do the testing? Utilize the university labs as well. I think some of the universities are wised up and they're doing that because that's a community solution. So you can gain control of your community. Another thing people haven't looked at is contain this to your community, right? Self-contain your community. If you feel like that this restriction is too harsh, then just say this is our boundary. And I'm not going to leave this boundary at all for 21 days. And then if somebody gets sick and we spread it in our own community, we shut down our community a lot faster and tighter. I mean, I could be wrong. Sasha, what is your thoughts on this?
My thoughts are this. First of all, I would question the validity of the concept of social distancing, what people are talking these days about. I would call it physical distances, because physically you are removed from your friends, relatives, and so on, but emotionally and through means of communications, basically you are available to contact with all the people. But all concept of community is changing now. Actually, maybe not even now. Maybe it started 5, 10 years, 15 years ago, and we are just going through the process where your community is not people who live next door anymore. It's people that you are in contact through video conferences, through even simple things like email, WhatsApp, and any Skype or whatever it might be, whatever devices. Actually, I hate that I have to be in contact on several different devices at the same time. Somebody, even for example, my daughter, she writes to me in WhatsApp, and also she sends me email, and something else that I have to open and have to read. And I sometimes get lost. Which one I have to check first?
Which one to follow? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little bit of inconvenience. So the concept of community, that's going through big changes. Unfortunately, it's forced on us by the coronavirus effect, but it's there whether we like it or not. That's my thoughts.
No, certainly, I agree with whatever Sasha is saying, that physical distancing is very important.
Bon appetit.
And
I was hungry.
Yeah, great.
Excuse me.
So what I'll do is I'll play one of the survivors' video in the meantime, because
While Kim stuffs her face. But I agree with you, Sasha.
Yeah.
So this video is by one of the Filipinos, and as Sasha said, that physical distancing is more important, and we can still connect socially, but the technical issues and people are sharing the same information on different platforms, like we do on IBM with Kim. We are discussing the same thing on different platforms.
Yeah.
So that's
COVID-19 is not a death sentence. It is something that you can win over. You just need to have the right faith.
It's very hard to hear him.
You can't hear you?
I can't hear him.
Sasha, you?
No.
Nobody can visit you, not even your family members. So in isolation, it's a negative pressure room. So my wife and I had video calls almost every hour. She was checking on me to make sure that I've eaten, I have drank enough water for that particular hour. And every time I feel fear, I would immediately call my wife and my daughter just to give me to suspend reality that I was in a hospital. The scariest moment was maybe it started on the 4th day when people who got admitted at the same time as me, they started dying. Early in the morning, you would hear people crying or wailing because they have lost their loved ones. I just want people to know that getting COVID-19 is not a death sentence. It is something that you can win over. You just need to have the right faith, psychological and emotional perspective. I want you to know that once you have symptoms, you need to immediately isolate yourself. There's no way you can take a risk that the elderly or the high-risk groups in your family will get contaminated or will get the virus.
So, that's, but a message that people need to know is once that you know that you've been around someone who has it, even if you don't have the symptoms, you need to refrain.
True.
Because this is spreadable before you have symptoms. You're contagious during all of that. And I don't think people get that message. Everybody, again, they think it's like the flu. Once I had the fever, then I'm contagious. And that's not the way this is. And do you know Ebola? That's how they determined whether you would be contagious or not, is at the moment of fever. Once you have fever, they would test you and then they would contain you. And their tests were a little more rapid because Ebola has been around a little bit longer. But again, that's a monster virus that we've never been able to rid the world of. This is worse. I mean, again, our world has never seen anything like this before. Humanity hasn't. Let's put it that way. Humans have never seen this before. And I think it's just going to happen again. And it's going to be bigger or worse because there's more out there. We keep unearthing things every day. We haven't respected Mother Nature like we should have. And I think we're feeling the reality of Mother Nature saying, yeah, you opened up a door you shouldn't have. And this is what happens. So I think we just need to be more careful. Again, I am hearing from other people who are not ready to come public yet. They're still doing their research, but they believe that this will not be the last one. And we know that this is the third version of a similar virus to two others that we were able to contain. They were still that bad that we were able to contain them. But what's bad is that I would like to understand a little bit more is I understand the damage that Corona-19 does to a human body is permanent damage to the lungs. But from some people, it doesn't sound like it's, like the girl that spoke earlier, it doesn't sound like it's that bad. I would really like to understand that what's happening inside the body when you do have it. Anki, you got a video about that, don't you? Can we see that? And then we'll slowly wrap up because I know you guys want to get out. It's a beautiful day here.
I'll find out the video in the meantime. I'll play one more video.
Okay.
Is it audible?
This is a group of friends and
Can you see the video?
The people you see behind me were all infected with coronavirus. I can't show you all their faces, but what I can do is tell you their incredible story. This is a group of friends and colleagues who work at a church in Singapore. Back in January, one of them got infected with COVID-19 over a family dinner. And without him knowing, he came to church and had a normal day. But little did he know that his virus was spreading like wildfire.
Oh, where is it?
3, 5, 10, 15, 17 people got infected just like that in a very short time. No one knows exactly how it happened. It could have been a meeting, a sneeze, a handshake, or a cough. That's how contagious coronavirus is. And that's how an entire church was shut down. From headaches to fevers to intensive care units.
When I was infected and when I was a confirmed case, that thought came through my mind that I would die because of the virus.
Each one of them had a different response to the virus. Some didn't feel it, others spent 31 days in the ICU. And the story doesn't end here. In addition to dealing with coronavirus, they had to deal with the stigma. The COVID-19 stigma is huge. At school, their kids were called COVID kids. Hotels didn't let their families stay, and family weddings were forced to be canceled. This is why we had to cover most of their faces. This tragedy was going to ruin their lives. But here is what we don't hear enough of. Facts. COVID-19 has a much higher recovery rate than we think, with over 98% of patients recovering. And for this group of friends, 100% of them recovered. 17 out of 17 of them healed from coronavirus. That is incredible. In no time, they went back to living their lives normally, full of energy and gratitude.
As the days went by, I realized that I wouldn't die because I felt strong at a point in time, physically, emotionally. I didn't feel that I was dying. Instead, I was feeling that I was recovering and growing stronger by the day.
Now they are donating their blood for medical research. Because of their donations, we can develop vaccines to save everybody else. If you're worried about coronavirus right now, tell your friends about these people. They are not just survivors, they are a source of hope for a future without coronavirus. See you next week. What's your message to the world?
My message to the world: be socially responsible and have hope in your heart. Hope of your faith, hope for your family, hope for your country, and hope for the whole world to overcome this virus together.
Wow. When was that? When was the church infected? I forget that date.
Singapore.
What? That's in Singapore?
Singapore, yeah.
But what day was that? Do we know?
I think it's sometime in January. That's what they mentioned.
So that's a long time ago. Yeah. So it's interesting to hear, because I would like to know that what you call that turnaround time of, from the time that all those people were infected to the point that they were all well. And I think it's beautiful that they're donating their plasma for research. But there had to be a date, right, of when they're able to do these kind of stories. When was that story made?
Story made, I think, a couple of days back.
Okay, so a few days ago. So yeah. We're looking at from January to the 1st of April, potentially a 60 to 90 day turnaround, right?
Yeah, but the best thing what they done is what they did is they have because of the limited resources in Singapore and the limited land, so they try to test everyone at the point of time, and people who have symptoms, they have quarantined those people. So that's what I said, that people country with limited a smart one. Rather than countries like us with a bigger population and a bigger diversification, I think it's difficult, and then people don't listen in our countries like USA and India. I think Canadians are still listening, but in our country, people are not listening.
But by the time you have symptoms, it's too late, right?
Yeah.
So how do we get around that?
So I think it's the best way. The best medicine is always to stay at home, and I think we have to extend the lockdown because that is what we need to do at this point of time.
So I got all kinds of social media. You know how they say be socially responsible now? So right now I'm using WhatsApp, Skype, Facebook Messenger, LinkedIn Messenger, and I get all of these. I have no idea what's ringing. It was probably me ringing, and I have no idea. I'm looking like, where is this ringing? Because I can't see it. But I have no idea. See, somebody was calling me on WhatsApp. So I just figured it out. But being socially responsible on my phone now is not very good. Sasha, you seem to be just taking this all in a.
Well, I'm watching my time because at 2:00 this real estate agent should bring me 2 cigars that I ordered. So hope she'll make it.
So that's nice that people are taking the time to help each other and shop for each other. I'm sure we'll get to that point as well. I live just a short distance from a very small supermarket, but very well stocked. They suffered a little bit when everybody was shopping at one time. So you could go in there and there was no chicken, there was no hamburger, there was no beef. The only thing nobody touched was pork. I was really like, pork and seafood were abundance, but everybody cleaned out the chicken and the beef. Literally just the meat market was cleaned out, but the pork was still there and the seafood. So I'm not understanding this part of shopping. I'm not much of a shopper anyway. I'm domesticatedly challenged. I'll get the basics. And I do like to cook occasionally. So, but it's nice that you've got cigars coming. Anything else?
Yeah. Well, I live not too far from the Italian supermarket. It's I would say high-end store. And the first thing what was gone there, rabbits. There were no rabbits a day or two, but now they are. But for some reason, rabbits are gone.
I don't think I've ever tried rabbit. What about you, Kit?
I'm a vegetarian, so I just eat veggies and egg. Only
eggs and veggies. Rabbit.
Eggs also we don't cook at home, so we have it outside the home.
Oh, okay. All right. We eat a lot of eggs. I believe in eggs because it's a cheap protein. It's
but I know how to cook delicious food of different cuisines: Italian, Mexican, Indian. Likewise.
Well, the Mexicans actually eat more vegetables than what we make them out to be here in America. We make all of their food with beef and chicken. But in all honesty, in real Mexico, they eat a lot of fresh vegetables, part of their daily diet.
A lot of chili.
What?
A lot of chili peppers.
A lot of chili peppers. I do the same thing. I grow a lot of different variations of peppers in our garden, mainly because they're very strong plant. It's very difficult to kill a pepper plant, and the deer doesn't eat them. The deer won't eat the chili peppers. So, and they don't eat marigolds. So I know that I plant my marigolds around a lot of the plants to keep the deer out. But yeah, peppers, chili peppers, they're good for you.
We can create a lot of salsas, different kinds of salsas using chili peppers.
Yeah, I mean, it's just they're actually. I was told by a doctor friend that peppers are actually good for your digestive system. That it kills the bad bacteria. So actually, for people who have ulcers, even though they say peppers are bad, they said that it actually helps prevent the bad bacteria from growing. Who figured?
Garlic and onions, they're all good for you.
Yeah, onions. We have in the country, the onions have another service that they have done since the days of the pioneers, where they would cut an onion, peel it, and leave it in the room because onions absorb. They absorb bacteria. That's why I don't eat an onion if it's been sitting out any length of time, because it will absorb every bacteria in the room. So it's not healthy to eat. That's the reason why people get sick at parties. It's not because the mayonnaise went bad. It's because the onions absorb all the bacteria. So they would take that, but I always tell people, when you dispose that onion, dispose of it well because it has a lot of bacteria. If you take it out to the dirt to grow more onions, in my mind, you might be growing more bacteria. So we make sure we compost them real good so that they can't reproduce, because onions reproduce fast.
Yeah.
So I will never use an onion that we use to take bacteria out of the room. And I've done that a few times. Flu seasons, I stick the onion out. So it's a wide scale, right?
True. And that's how we also follow at the flu time, because we try to keep onions, or maybe we eat a lot of onions and garlic so that we'll be away from those flus. So as Kim, you requested, I have the video ready, so I'll play.
Okay, thank you. Yes, absolutely.
This is SARS-CoV-2. It belongs to the family of coronaviruses named for the crown-like spikes on their surfaces. SARS-CoV-2 can cause COVID-19, a contagious viral infection that attacks primarily your throat and lungs. What actually happens in your body when you contract the coronavirus? What exactly causes your body to develop pneumonia? And how would a vaccine work? The coronavirus must infect living cells in order to reproduce. Let's have a closer look. Inside the virus, genetic material contains the information to make more copies of itself. A protein shell provides a hard protective enclosure for the genetic material as the virus travels between the people it infects. An outer envelope allows the virus to infect cells by merging with the cell's outer membrane. Projecting from the envelope are spikes of protein molecules. Both a typical influenza virus and the new coronavirus use their spikes like a key to get inside a cell in your body, where it takes over the cell's internal machinery, repurposing it to build the components of new viruses. When an infected person talks, coughs, or sneezes, droplets carrying the virus may land in your mouth or nose and then move into your lungs. Once inside your body, the virus comes in contact with cells in your throat, nose, or lungs. One spike on the virus inserts into a receptor molecule on your healthy cell membrane like a key in a lock. This action allows the virus to get inside your cell. A typical flu virus would travel inside a sac made from your cell membrane to your cell's nucleus that houses all its genetic material. The coronavirus, on the other hand, doesn't need to enter the host cell nucleus. It can directly access parts of the host cell called ribosomes. Ribosomes use genetic information from the virus to make viral proteins, such as the spikes on the virus's surface. A packaging structure in your cell then carries the spikes in vesicles, which merge with your cell's outer layer, the cell membrane. All the parts needed to create a new virus gather just beneath your cell's membrane. Then, a new virus begins to bud off from the cell's membrane. Now, with the virus spreading in your body, how can you develop pneumonia symptoms? For this, we'll have to look into your lungs. Each lung has separate sections called lobes. Normally, as you breathe, air moves freely through your trachea or windpipe, then through large tubes called bronchi, through smaller tubes called bronchioles, and finally into tiny sacs called alveoli. Your airways and alveoli are flexible and springy. When you breathe in, each air sac inflates like a small balloon. And when you exhale, the sacs deflate. Small blood vessels called capillaries surround your alveoli. Oxygen from the air you breathe passes into your capillaries, and then carbon dioxide from your body passes out of your capillaries into your alveoli so that your lungs can get rid of it when you exhale. Your airways catch most germs in the mucus that lines your trachea, bronchi, and bronchioles. In a healthy body, hair-like cilia lining the tubes constantly push the mucus and germs out of your airways, where you might expel them by coughing. Normally, cells of your immune system attack viruses and germs that make it past your mucus and cilia and enter your alveoli. However, if your immune system is weakened, like in the case of a coronavirus infection, the virus can overwhelm your immune cells and your bronchioles and alveoli become inflamed as your immune system attacks the multiplying viruses. The inflammation can cause your alveoli to fill with fluid, making it difficult for your body to get the oxygen it needs. You could develop lobar pneumonia, where one lobe of your lungs is affected, or you could have bronchopneumonia that affects many areas of both lungs. Pneumonia may cause difficulty breathing, chest pain, coughing, fever and chills, confusion, headache, muscle pain, and fatigue. It can also lead to more serious complications. Respiratory failure occurs when your breathing becomes so difficult that you need a machine called a ventilator to help you breathe. These are the machines that save lives and that medical device companies currently ramp up production for. Whether you would develop these symptoms depends on a lot of factors, such as your age and whether you already have an existing condition. While this all sounds scary, the push to develop a coronavirus vaccine is moving at high speed. Studies of other coronaviruses led most researchers to assume that people who have recovered to infection could be protected from reinfection for a period of time. But that assumption needs to be backed by empirical evidence, and some studies suggest otherwise. There are several different approaches for potential coronavirus. The basic idea is that you would get a shot that contains faint versions of the virus. The vaccine would expose your body to a version of the virus that is too weak to cause infection, but just strong enough to stimulate an immune response. The cells in your immune system would make markers called antibodies, which would be specific for only the coronavirus, or specifically its spike protein. Antibodies then attach to the virus and prevent it from attaching to your cells. Your immune system then responds to signals from the antibodies by consuming and destroying the clumps of viruses. If you then catch the real virus at a later stage, your body would recognize it and destroy it. In other words, your immune system is now primed. Collecting evidence on whether this will be possible, safe, and effective is part of what's taking researchers so long to develop a vaccine. It's a race against time to develop a vaccine amid a pandemic. Each step in vaccine development usually takes months, if not years. An Ebola vaccine broke records by being ready in 5 years. The hope here is to develop one for the new coronavirus in a record-breaking 12 to 18 months. While all of this will take time, stay home if you can to protect the most vulnerable. And don't forget to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds and as often as possible. This video was a collaboration between Nucleus Medical.
That was the video discussing the complete process or the circle of coronavirus and how it impacts the body and what needs to be done. So I think, Sasha, your doubts are clear that what ventilation does with the when it's required to the respiratory system work, basically, because that's why people are hanging around. And people, there are not news coming up, but a lot of countries, they don't have ventilator, and that's why people are dying.
Well, the medical care, right? And your doctor said this on the show, Ankit, that a lot of places do not have the medical care facilities that the USA has to be able to manage this. Even the Prince of Netherlands made a comment to that fact, that they do not have the ICU facilities to maintain an epidemic scale of something like this. So most countries just, they're not going to have it. Now, if India has an ability to manufacture these at $100 a piece, and we turn around and even resell them for $1,000, that's cheaper than what they're buying them and selling them for in the U.S. right now. I'll distribute them all day long at that price, because in the U.S., you saw the price gouging. So if we can get the ventilators that people claim that they're able to produce, you take care of your country first, as you should, and then if you've got enough to distribute out, let's do that. But the U.S. doesn't have enough, and I learned something new from your doctors, that you can have more than one person on a ventilator. Did you know that
Yeah.
stuff? I didn't know that.
We were discussing the story because Dr. Sudha mentioned it earlier, and then we had clue that, but we were not sure how it works. Then Dr. Saguda did, they started working. So DRDO is one of our research organization in India, and they generally do research for defense. But whenever there's some kind of an pandemic or some situation happens, so all our defense staff would work on that particular calamity. So that's how they thought that why can't we do it? And so we have two solutions. One is the ventilator. One ventilator can be useful for 5 people, and also we have a very cheapest and the best ventilator for only for the corona symptoms, because that ventilator will try to help you gain a lot of oxygen, and that's what we require at this point of time. But I don't know the production and how it works, and I mean how much we need and how much we can supply. I don't have any idea about that. But I would urge that we should supply to everyone, whoever is required, maybe for our country and for everyone else. That is what the humanity is, and we should share our resources. We are not sharing the resources. Italy and France, they don't have those hospital beds and doctors available. And I'm concerned about doctors because a lot of doctors are suffering from COVID-19. I mean, they come out positive in India and around the world. And we have to take really good care of them because they are not going to take it as COVID because they're treating the patients. And that's how they are still contaminated. After taking the required precautions, still they are not safe. So I think we should think something on that level as well, and we should give them the best of the productions and also all the medical supplies or care, maybe medical insurance as well, to procure and save our doctors, because this is what the asset and strength is at this point of time.
Well, there's a, again, like you said, that there's some innovation going on to say, how can we address this matter now? There we go. And, there's a lot of people innovating some ideas. It'd be great to get them on the talk show, even though they're very, very busy. I'm trying to line up. I'm going to send you a person who is a DNA expert. We've been playing tag for a while, but I think you just scheduled them in so that they can come on board, because I think DNA testing is very important about all of this. The doctors, they've been preaching to us about good habits. I would love to just do a private interview that we record of Dr. Sagoo, teaching us the good basics. Dr. Patel, each person, just like, Sasha sharing stories with us, those are independently are great things to watch. And they're reassuring us that we can still do things ourselves to get through this. But I think it's about time to sign off so that we can have a little bit of an early day and maybe work on a few things that we need to work on for our future 24-hour day show. Sure. Sasha, are you ready for this? Got your vodka, your cigar?
Yeah, the time is coming.
Sasha, I'm telling you right now, we're gonna work on that chess thing that you want to do.
Sure.
And I'm gonna have a virtual bar, right?
Yeah,
and
right.
The virtual bar, people can pay to come in, right? I'm gonna have it set up so people can pay to come in. Bring your favorite drink. If you don't know how to mix something, we'll have a bartender there to tell you how to mix it. Because guess what? ABC stores, I don't know about your country, but ABC stores were considered essential businesses. Your alcohol stores are considered essential businesses. They did not shut them down. So we're going to have virtual bars, and I'll get some people who can bring us some music, and we'll just have a good time. And we'll play virtual chess where we bet on each other's next moves.
Yeah,
I think that would be fun.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah. And then we'll have a fashion show, and we'll get some musicians going. And we're going to make
We'll be playing movies as well. We'll be playing live movies based on the request. We'll get it from the viewers, maybe in English, maybe in other languages. And
but, if you get in touch with those people that we were discussing with previously, maybe they might be willing to give us the link so that we can provide movies just during this time. just during this time for free, to inspire so many other things. I've heard people say, I'm tired of watching movies now. So they, in 3 days, they've already watched all the movies they could handle. So I just think that's so funny. You know, I haven't had time. You know, I've watched, when I work out, I watch things that aren't really healthy for the mind. I watch Forensic 24, where they're solving murders and, you know, things like that. You know, Dexter, right? So when I'm working out, I'm watching all these unhealthy things. But anyway, the thing we need to think about is the positiveness. Let's get our ambassador on, get her to show us what we need to do socially, social distancing,
physical distancing,
and have a drink. And he's going to tell us tomorrow how great it was with his cigar.
कोरोना से कैसे बचेंगे? हैंड होकर और ऐसे अपने खांसी जब आएगी तो ऐसे करेंगे अछू अछू और कोरोना वायरस को धन्यवाद हमारा म्यूजिक सुनने का.
Bravo.
Thank you. There's our future, folks. Discipline.
Yep.
So we'll sign up for today, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Yep.
And hopefully everything will stay healthy and stay calm and stay at home. That is what the message from us at IBM. And it's time to wrap up. Take care. Have a good day.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.